live, and it's here, the last episode of 2019. We're going out the same way we go out every year, just talking about the year. It's been a good year, interesting year, okay year. It's been a fine year. I love it. We got a full freaking house today, so let's go through the introductions. I am joined this week by the wonderful and beautiful Mr. Tom Kerr.
Good evening, everybody, and happy end of the year, and Merry Clixmas in advance.
The awesome and ever lovable Mr. Mike White.
Hi, everyone. Happy end of year.
The ever-present and always judging Jay.
Happy Hanukkah to literally nobody that's watching this.
You have to turn into Clixnica.
Clixnica.
It doesn't work as well as Clixnica.
No, it really doesn't.
And the man who's been helping us through the end of the year has been a wonderful addition to the show, Mr. Devon from Happy Little Heroclix.
Hello. Happy holidays. I'm starting a war on Clixmas.
Oh boy. Careful now. Careful now.
So what she's saying is happy Clixadays, not
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Clixadays.
Cliximus for the rest of us.
Yeah. There we are.
All right. Weeks in review. How's your week been, Tom, in Heroclix?
It's been uneventful. I showed up long enough to see a few people playing on Thursday night while I was doing some shopping, so I can vouch for the fact that there was a tournament on Thursday night. I can also vouch for the fact that I wasn't there. But it was cool to at least see it happening, and it was a lot of holiday stuff happening this weekend for us. My buddies and I were together for our annual thing on Sunday, and my family was together on Saturday, which, other than one injury, mostly went well. These things happen, you know. So yeah, it's been a great week, but not a terribly Heroclixian one, I must say. On to the next.
All right. What about you, Mike? How's your week been in Heroclix?
It was good. I got to play a bunch. I played Thursday night, and I played yesterday. I played so much I don't even remember what Thursday was again.
Wasn't it like 400? You had to have at Woodperplex and Prob because Devon said so.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Other Devon.
It was Devon's birthday event. I'll just very, very quickly, because we have so many things to talk about with so many people. I just made a team that was based around monsters because I've been obsessed with monsters lately, and it was Undertaker. The Archangel prize from Regenesis, Dr. Frankenstein, Raven rare from Rebirth, Mojo at 75 points, and 2 Wendigos at 15 points. Yeah, ton of fun. Love the team. I am madly in love with Mojo. I think he is such a fantastic 75-point support piece on a monster team with all the things he does. It's so much fun to play against a team that sidesteps a lot because he just skitters all over the place. And if you combine him with a bunch of people with super senses who manage to roll super senses, well, he gets board tokens for that because those counts as misses. And all of a sudden he can just jump around the map, and it's a lot of fun. I love him. It played pretty good. I went, I think I was 2-1, had a lot of fun. Sean Chu came out, and he hasn't come out much in a long time, so it was great to play with a good friend. Yeah, I know, right? It was so much fun to get to play with a good friend of mine, great player as well. We saw Tom briefly. A Tom appearance is always a wonderful thing. It makes us feel good about stuff. Emily was there, Devon was there, and we got to celebrate his birthday, and we got 3 rounds of play, so it was a lot of fun. And then yesterday was one of Jay's yearly super confusing...
I saw the event description, but yeah.
One of those builds that I sometimes struggle with because it's like there's so many nuances to it, and I'm obsessed with building theme already. So it was the 12 days of Clixmas, and I won't go into all the details, but basically, you know, like the rhyme with the whole partridge in a pear tree there, you had to have a figure that fit a slot for each particular thing.
Drummer wasn't that hard to come by then.
Well, drummer in this case was, you know, it was either they had flurry or they had some other sound or music-based thing, something like that.
Dolphin is probably the hardest one.
How is the character named the drummer not count?
Well, that was my joke.
Yeah. Technically, he wouldn't count.
Same as how Angel wouldn't count as a bird for the description because it said, what was it? Bird, keyword, costume, or name, and he isn't any of those technically. But we let Mike cheat anyway.
Yeah, I felt like the costume side of things. I know it's technically not a costume because they're a wing, but whatever. Come on, it's Christmas. He was giving. He was in the giving spirit. So as Jay alludes, I built an X-Men team because I felt, again, if I'm going to build keyword and I have to fit all these characters into these individual slots, I picked a keyword that I knew there would be a lot of different characters with different powers. Like Avengers was another idea I was going to build with.
Or Batrock's Brigade, just for the Lord's sake.
Batrock, the Leaper!
It's really easy to get 12 individual characters on a 1,000-point team with Batrock's Brigade on it. Yes, Tom. Yes.
I think all of Batrock's Brigade is like a 300. Nope, 200 and change.
12 Batrock's leaping. 11 Batrock's leaping.
Remember, Jakar has it.
If you do full point Jakar and everything since AVAS, it's 703 points.
I love it.
Of like 7 figures.
But then you also have to look at your opponent and say, this Jakar is at full points.
That's awesome. So, anyway, I'm not even going to list off my team. Okay, it was a whole bunch of stuff. Let's just say that the key was I played a Lilla. I played the Shadowcat Con LE. I played Uncanny X-Men Super Rare Beast at 100 points with the crazy outwit everything within 4. Well, not everything, but something on everybody within 4.
Yeah, it's
awesome. And I played the Chase Magneto from
Uncanny.
Yeah, from Uncanny. So the free object thing. Those are just some highlights of some of the evil that I threw on my team. I always had Shadowcat in the middle of everybody that mattered, so they all had a +1 attack and +1 defense, which was very useful. I always had a whole swarm protecting Beast. I always put him within 4 of at least 75% of my opponent's team to be able to just get rid of stuff. People needed pieces of paper to keep track of everything that he would get rid of and around, because it was everybody's teams was 1,000-point build, and if you were building in this scenario, you had 12 characters, right? So it was pretty crazy. I played David Crichton in the first round, which was fun because we've never got to play each other before. And he had a team based around a ton of Batman 60 whatever villains, that set.
Cool.
And a Mangog.
Oh.
But he didn't play him as a Retaliator, which he really should have. He would have been way more effective. Instead, he played him at like 150 points. He made like 1 or 2 attacks with him, and he didn't get anything. My team did a whole bunch of stuff. It was pretty brutal. I think I took like 300 something points and lost nothing. So my second. Yeah, and my second round was my second round against you, Jay?
Yes.
Yeah. So my second round was against Jay. Jay, of course. Anybody guess the named theme Jay built?
I'm going to go with Justice Society on this one.
What a shocker! Tom, you're like Kreskin. I don't know how you.
Jay would do. Jay's
I don't
way
know
off
how.
base.
That's actually not even true. You're getting
I
very
don't even-
old and forgetful.
No, it was not actually.
It was last year, I
the
will
team,
say.
That was the team that he actually built for Manny to play.
No,
which
actually,
Manny then
no. I
it
built
was
no.
some hot mess going on.
No. So I built
Jay,
Manny.
you'll have your turn.
Jay's team was Batman Family, actually, or Gotham,
It was
whatever
Gotham.
it was. There you go. But I'm more making fun of the fact that that is usually what Jay will play.
Uh-huh.
I did much of the same cheese stuff in our game. He played World's Finest at 300 though, so that was some gross stuff. But unfortunately, because of the number of characters that we had and how long turns took, I don't think that he ever got to really be effective with him. And I got lucky a couple of times on the few attacks that he made. Like people survived that shouldn't have survived. So I actually won that game. Points, though, we weren't that far off in points.
No,
we
when
were
the
less
game
than 100
ended,
points.
we did last round, and it was the third round only.
Yeah.
Because one of your turns took like 20 minutes.
Yeah, totally. It took forever. And then the last round was, did I play Emily? I'm pretty sure I played Emily in the last round. I think so.
No, you played
Uh,
Manny.
I played Manny. Oh yeah, that's why. That's the. I am getting old and forgetful. I played a lot of clicks this week. It's crazy. I haven't played this much clicks in forever. So I played Manny, and Manny. Well, apparently they left half the team in the car at home or something. So the team was supposed to be Justice League, but then it ended up being like half JSA and Justice League. So Manny didn't have theme probs. On I literally, I think there was only 3 characters on his team that I did not outwit with Beast, and I just did a whole bunch of gross things with. I had all new Wolverine on my team, so I was popping out Jonathan and doing gross stuff. I had the rare Professor X who's mind controlling people. Yeah, I had Prime.
Very Clixmas.
I had Prime Sunfire.
Casual game.
I had Prime Sunfire. I had a Moira McTaggart, and I had the super rare Angel from X-Men
Spirit of
Xavier
Christmas is
School,
alive and well.
Also, I had Zoran the Tester.
and I had Dust. Anyway, so in a surprise turn of events, I went 3-0. But what's really surprising was it was in spite of rolling 4s on almost every roll all day. It's a good thing I made a team of cheese with 3 perplexes, because seriously, I had ridiculous dice. I had to make 4s and 3s actually hit to be able to actually go 3-0 in this tournament. But it was fun regardless, and that was my week in clicks.
All right, Jay,
Yeah,
how
I'm pretty
about
sure
you?
you had 13s missing and needing theme probs for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, our game literally only went like 3 turns, but you still burned all your theme probs on like your first turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your
I was
first attacking
attacking with
turn.
13 attack and 14 attacks, and I missed and probed and missed and probed and missed and probed and missed, and I burned through my 5 theme probs in like turn 1. It's hilarious. My dice hate me so much. It's fantastic.
I think you deserved it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fight you.
Pretty much. They were karma dice.
I was going to say the ghost of Christmas present was like, excuse me? No.
I really need to spite you by making a build that requires a swarm and then playing that beast against you and just seeing you just give up.
Oh, totally. I would totally just give up.
You just concede.
I would see beast and I would be like, okay, we're good. We're good.
Oh, I played the same one tournament, the Sunday tournament. I had it was like, yeah, you had to have 12 figures for theme, and it was 1,000 points. So my Gotham City team comprised of 500 points of 10 characters, and then Solomon Grundy, and then World's Finest. So the 2 characters took up literally half of the team because there's nothing in Gotham that's more than 150 usually. So.
Yes, let's point out that Jay did play Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, Solomon Grundy was really bad in this format. He got double. Yeah, the 2 of my games he basically got double tapped like immediately. It was really bad. I played against Austin round 1 with just a bunch of cosmic dudes. He had Mr. Oz at full, Hal Parallax, More of Light, movie Chase, Captain Marvel, Phoenix 5 Magneto, and Eclipso as an actual character. And I basically was relying on my one-man army, World's Finest, which thankfully was ignoring Mystics because that's how Superman works in HeroClix now, which makes all the sense, but that's okay. I managed to make just enough attacks to get him, and then we were doing last round, and then it came down to he had 1 turn where basically one of my figures was like 1 square off of letting him be on the rim of elevated to dual target 2 characters and finish both of them off. Like it was like one of those games where it came down to literally like every little thing. So that was good. And then I played against Mike, and Mike had a game of a 20-minute turn, and then I had a couple turns. It was still pretty close. What was it, like 400 to like 350 or something?
Yeah,
it was like really
definitely less than like 80 points.
Yeah.
I think it might have even been less than that, because didn't you almost kill Dust? Like, weren't you going to win if you killed Dust on the last action?
No, I think by the time it actually came to my last turn, I don't think I actually had a chance. I had a way to win, even though it was last round.
Oh yeah, that's right. We worked
Or
it
I
out.
think it was, even if I got the right number of points, you would almost certainly have gotten more and gotten it, which ended up happening anyway. So that didn't really
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, because you were first player.
Yeah, and it didn't matter that there was only 4 squares of blocking because Magneto never attacked at all, because he just got killed like right away.
He totally did.
7 clicks, no outwit protection. He dropped like a rock.
No, he totally did.
Almost like
It's
Mike has
hilarious.
played against that figure before or something.
It was hilarious.
Oh, so that happened, and then I played against David, and he just didn't have much in the way of support powers, and he had like Egghead's situational prob, but like he just didn't have it on the turn that he needed it. He just couldn't hit anything. World's Finest with duo attack managed to get Mangog, and then Tim Drake Robin from Batman Animated took him down on his last click with the in-cap penetrating damage.
Come again?
Yep. 40-point Tim Drake MVP. And that was a game.
Kids, can we watch list Tim Drake?
He just got one. Come on. How long have we been waiting for one again since Streets of Gotham? No, I don't
Early
know.
retirement, Tim Drake.
Oh yeah, he's too good. Him and Faust, too good.
Too
Yeah.
good.
Too OP.
Characters.
He's definitely
Too
at
OP,
Faust's power
man.
level.
My heel hurts when you say Faust.
Oh,
God, my heel hurts.
and then
I'm dead to
because
the floor
because
for
I
a
don't
while.
like Mike anymore, I'm doing the anti-Mike build on this Thursday, which is literally
No thank-
500 golden. Like anything you play is
Anything
theme,
is theme.
basically.
And I'm still gonna make a name.
Yeah, you can do theme in addition, but it's just. And I made a team of. I have the Orville Doctor. I have every modern universe in there, so that should be fun.
So what I built for you for that was Dark Phoenix at 300 points, Jason Wingard chase, Emma Frost chase, and a Tri-Sentinel. And you know what I threw in for flavor? A veteran Hellfire Guard from Ultimates.
That sounds like exactly what Devon's gonna play. Like
Yeah,
to the last
totally.
figure.
Totally, I should just send that
Exactly.
to him.
If you really want to do an anti-Mike tournament, all you do is call it casual and then circulate information beforehand to everyone except Mike, telling them to build hardcore.
Because Mike is coming.
That's the true definition of an anti-Mike build.
No,
Oh.
Tom's totally right, because I will 90% of the time, if it's casual, I'll make something silly, and then I'll get smoked. I was so smoked. I hate showing up to the resource build. Oh,
That's why I
Oh.
ban them every time now, because there's like 1 or 2 players that will bring them, so we have to preempt that.
and I will say that the reason I played Beast this Sunday was because Devon played him on Thursday, and reminded me how friggin' evil he is. I had to concede my game with Devon on Thursday. No, literally, because every time I attacked him, it was the same scenario. I had 13 attacks and I missed on all of my attacks, and then he would outwit my whole team, and then I would have a turn where I would attack and I would miss everything. 3 turns in a row, I missed all my attacks. When D goes, everything. I'm Archangel with 14 attack is missing. Like, it was insane. I conceded that game because my dice plus Beast. Yeah, no. That's no fun.
Anything else there, Jay? Or
No, that was it.
all right, Devin, how's your week been?
It was good.
All right, moving on.
All right,
Succinct.
excellent. I can stop building an arcade machine here because
Yeah. I got to play 2 days. We haven't hit our Christmas builds yet, so this past Thursday was 400 points. Was it 500? One of the two. And you had to have at least one vehicle or someone riding some kind of vehicle. So Ghost Rider on his motorcycle or Mammoth would count, right? I was the judge, so I just played the buy. I had the Batmobile at full, the Chase Robin at 20 points, and Batman God of Knowledge. So my Batmobile with 9 range would running shot, jettison Batman God of Knowledge out 9 squares, who would poison with like a ring or hit someone, then phasing and get back in the car. It was fun.
cool. I I unfortunately didn't get a chance to play any HeroClix this week. We are on the downtime at Dolly's, and I just haven't really had a chance to get out or do anything. But that is not to say my week was without clicks, because this past Saturday was my birthday, and I was blessed. I was blessed with some good news, baby. What is it? Game Trainer Magazine is out in the world, and the folks over at Now Playing Lewisburg shared, and I came across it courtesy of Clicked Off. We got our first peek at this Fantastic Four starter that's just around the corner from us, guys, and I love it. We're gonna start. There's 2 figures that got previewed. 4 if you're doing my count. The first
5,
one here.
5 depending upon.
No, 4.
Oh, come on.
By my count.
No respect.
The first one is Invisible Woman. The picture's not the greatest, of course, because it's taken from a magazine, but I'm pretty okay with what we can see here. Invisible Woman has the Fantastic Four, Lady Liberators, Celebrity, and Scientist keyword. She ignores hindering for line of fire. She's figure number 2. Those of you who are interested. She's got a trait, Hide and Seek. Free. Choose one. Until your next turn, opposing characters can't target Invisible Woman unless they began their turn within 3 squares of her. Or terrain markers are considered clear for line of fire this turn if Invisible Woman is within 4 squares of them. Her special defense power, which if you pay 100 points, is on her first click, and also the first click on 75, as well as click number 4 and 7, her last click. You'd be surprised what lengths I can go when pushed. Barrier and toughness and willpower. When Invisible Woman uses barrier, after resolutions, you may knock back 2 squares any number of opposing characters adjacent to these markers. She's got a special damage power on her very last click. Johnny, stay with me. Stop, but only if another friendly character with a Fantastic Four keyword is on the map, and that comes with shape change. She's 100 or 75 points. She's got the Fantastic Four team ability, which has a little bit of clarification for those of you who might have forgot. When this character is KO'd after resolutions, each other friendly character using this team ability heals 1 click. So that'll be for anybody with the Fantastic Four team ability. Also note, it is copyable. So we're going to start with Tom. What do you think of Invisible Woman?
Well, I'm just kind of processing it now. You did share the link, but I'm just sort of letting it all kind of flow over me. I'm a huge fan of Invisible Woman. I'm a huge fan of the Fantastic Four. I'm so blinded by my happiness of seeing them again that it's going to be difficult for me to be objective here. So, apologies in advance for a pretty low-level criticism because I am just super happy. And frankly, I'm super happy with this being the Invisible Woman we're getting. I love the fact that she does so many things between I like a top-dial support character that is capable of doing something other than purely support, and that is a comparatively rare thing in this game these days. So when you take the fact that she's got top-dial support and couple it with the fact that she's rocking TK to help keep people get around, she's helping remove the encumbrance of terrain markers and things so that people can shoot it where they need to, as well as putting her own terrain down and knocking people around with it. Like, that's a lot of disruption, and the fact that it's coupled with her ability to do free, make herself very hard to target, and that she can see through hindering already, and at least has enough damage to be able to crack the heavier reducers at any given point. I think it's enough. I guess, and she's attacking as well with a stop click. I think it's enough to justify her cost, even if she is ultimately a glorified support piece. I think that she's extremely glorified, and just the ability to make other people see through the terrain is so good in and of itself that I'm sure it's got a lot of potential. So very top of mind, or very just off the top of my head thoughts, because I'm just kind of looking at it for the first time, but already I love it, and I'm so happy to see it.
All right, Mike?
I have a question, and this is really a question directed at Jay, being a judge and everything. Just about the wording specifically of her trait, where it says terrain markers are considered clear. Mm-hmm. Would that include printed terrain, or that's only the markers that someone uses for things like smoke cloud and barrier and such?
And I think I don't actually know what we would count. Yeah, no, it would have to say like terrain within.
Yeah. Markers are markers, terrain is terrain.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So it isn't printed terrain.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so it's just because if it was printed terrain, right, she would just be.
Well, that'd be insane.
Broken in half.
So I just wanted to clarify that
Yeah.
before I continued on. It's pretty cool and it's pretty neat because she can take a turn to put up a barrier to protect her friends, and they can still shoot through it. She can sidestep back from it, so she's not within 4 of it anymore. So that's a neat little trick. I agree with Tom that a support character who literally has support as well as can do something like TK. And even then, look at her values. 11 attack, 3 damage is nothing to sneeze at for a support figure. It means that she's not like, sitting back there worried about not being able to protect herself as it is. And a 19 defense. I mean, that's pretty sweet. I think she's a great figure. She's going to see play. I totally agree with PJ's comment in the Discord that this character definitely has a meta potential to her, either as a support piece or with the right things added. Who knows? She's really interesting. Great, exciting preview, really. I would say that to have waited so long for Fantastic Four to come back, this is a pretty great way to sort of start.
It's a good start. All right. Jay?
I'm just trying to figure out. I'm pretty sure that based on the wording of her defense power, she would get the extra effect off of barrier from, free barrier from the whatever ring it is, because it doesn't say when she uses it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to double check that. That's a possibility. I'm not sure about modern, right now, because I don't know. It feels like there should be just stuff that could get... Or no, I guess you can't even attack her. Or you can't even... I was more thinking about Pauper for her, because, everything in Pauper really doesn't like having to deal with this. But even in modern, right now, it's probably at least worth considering. I'm not sure about actually usable, but at least definitely worth thinking about. But this will... If this isn't a competitive figure at some point, I would be very surprised.
All right. And Devon.
Bam. I really like her. It's great to see Fantastic Four back. Same comments as before. It's been so long without them that getting any version, especially one with multiple point lines, perfectly good because it can fit on even more teams. And for the life of me, I was trying to think. There's some equipment that affects knockback damage, but I couldn't think of one.
Are you thinking of the old Mandarin ring?
The old
Maybe
rings,
old
dude.
ring.
Rings,
Maybe
yeah.
the old
The old Force Blast one gave you extra knockback damage.
I love,
okay.
Let me just side note it that everyone immediately is like, oh yeah, that thing from 7 years ago? How old?
Yeah.
The impact beam?
Yeah.
I can't believe that was 7 years ago.
Trying to give some nuanced take, and I
I'm
guess there's
exaggerating.
an extra knockback damage in modern right now.
Is there?
I want to say there has to be something.
Well, there's the Jotunheim map, but that just doubles the number of squares.
yeah. I was trying to think her ranged knockback could be fun.
Mhm.
I can't think of
Barrier.
anything.
Yeah.
They're very well maybe. I don't know.
So partner, if we can find something, maybe partner her with that. But
Yeah.
that's all I got.
Mhm. All right. I don't think I can add a single thing to this wonderful conversation. A lot has been said, and I do have positive thoughts about this Invisible Woman, but I don't have as many positive thoughts about her as I have about the next figure, Dr. Doom!
What? You like Dr. Doom? How weird.
Just
How did
a
I
little.
not
I
know?
don't.
How did I not
got a
know
thing
that?
for him. I don't know.
That's weird. It's so weird.
All right,
You'd have
just-
thought you'd have mentioned that before. That's so
Right?
weird.
He's all right.
I don't,
You can have
I
mine.
apologize.
Give me my FF.
He's no Black Panther.
All right.
He's no Reed Richards.
Oh.
All right. So Dr. Doom's got a lot to go on, so bear with me here.
Yeah.
His keywords include Cabal, Latveria, Armor, Cosmic, Mystical, Politician, Ruler, and Scientist. His trait, only Doom is fit to rule. Leadership, but instead removes the action token from himself. When Dr. Doom uses it and succeeds, until your next turn, he has Ignores Hindering for Line of Fire and Protected Mind Control and Outwit. Other powers and abilities can't remove action tokens from Dr. Doom, so he can only leadership himself through this power. He's got a special damage power on the first click of all 3 of his different starting lines, 300, 200, or 100. Photon Array. It's Energy Explosion. When Doctor Doom hits with a ranged attack, after resolutions, give each hit character an action token. If you can't, deal that character 1 penetrating damage. He's got a special defense power on click number 2, 5, and 7. Oh, 8. Sorry, 8. You have angered Doom. Stop. Toughness. When Doctor Doom is targeted by an attack, you may choose a standard defense power that you haven't chosen this turn. Doctor Doom can use that power for this attack. He's got a special damage power on click number 1, 4, 7, and his final click number 11. Few men are as subtle as Doctor Doom. Outwit. Second half here. Free. Choose an opposing character of lower points within 4 squares in line of fire and a power, standard or special, they can use. The chosen character can't use that power until your next turn. And yes, he comes in at either 300, 200, or 100 points, and he has the new version of the Minions of Doom team ability. When this character KOs a standard opposing character, after resolutions, heal 1 click on a friendly character using this team ability. So it's no longer wild card. They're no longer cheaped up. Bias point here. I love this Doctor Doom. I love it. 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 But I'm going to let Mike start the conversation on Doctor Doom.
Really like Doctor. Anyway, yeah, who couldn't like this Doctor Doom? Honestly, there's not. I rarely ever think I would play a one-man army figure, but I would totally give it a shot with this Doom. He's got a really cool power combinations and things he can do with those powers. I mean, right out of the gate, again, if you're playing him in a 300-point modern event, he's going to be higher points than anybody. So he's going to be definitely taking advantage of the cool second part of his outwit power. So it's almost like he's got 2 outwits. He's got a stop click right there on that second click, which puts him at a 19 defense. And that's a pretty gross defense power, right? I mean, you can just look ahead at all the attackers on your opponent's team, think about what's the best defense power, sort of for each of them, should they be attacking you, and boom, 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 sort of plan ahead, pick them one at a time. Oh, this guy's got Psychic Blast. Well, definitely I should use some Invincible here or some Super Senses here, or,
Mastermind.
Yeah, Mastermind. Well, Mastermind, no, not if you're playing with 300 points, because there's not going to be anybody to Mastermind to. But
unless they give you a Leslie Evans, and then
wouldn't that be fun? Oh my
Sorry,
God.
Doctor. What?
Or you've crit missed and you have your
Doctor.
Super
Mm-hmm. True.
Doctor.
Super friend. Yep.
Yeah,
Maybe that's how you got to click 2.
Yeah.
Possibly. So, I mean, everything that's going, that energy explosion, special attack power. Oh my God. Like, he's great. He's a great Doom. Once again, we've waited a long time to have the Fantastic Four and Doom and related characters in clicks. And this may be the best Doom yet.
And
Really?
this is a starter set.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's an all-access, pretty crazy Doom. I want to see some 300 Doom versus Doom matchup there. A little Doom on Doom violence.
Stop reading my fanfic.
Right?
Let's play Marvel versus Capcom.
So this is what we have to do. We have to make it an event where all of us get together and play a battle royal where everybody plays their Doom.
Agreed. All right.
It's glorious.
Jay?
I don't know what else there is to say. I don't know how much I like him at the 300-point line, because I don't necessarily like going all in like that. But 200 or 100 are worth considering. Like, I would like the idea of if there's... Oh, no, there is. Oh, no, never mind.
What?
I was just trying to remember if there was a good scientist with support, but then I remembered Claire Finn, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, but the build I have so far is 100-point Doctor Doom, Arthax Iron Man with the map bonus for Mastermind fodder, and then Claire Finn for the sidestep and support and stuff. Leaves still a bunch of room to work with, so I think that's Jason's new build he's working on. But yeah, I mean, he has all the... I don't quite know why he has Cosmic. Like, he had Cosmic powers a couple times, but like as a standard,
He gets them.
I guess he's gotten them enough.
Different enough. Just
He has
leeches it
gotten
off.
them at least what 2-3 times. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like 100 the most, just because he at least keeps running shot on the stop click, whereas on the higher one he just gets sidestep, which is kind of And hopefully there's no secret tech that an opponent would have that can get him off of the stop click too easily. Although, unfortunately, Pim Tank should be able to do that.
Green Arrow.
Finn Balor.
Well, I mean, Green Arrow, but nobody's playing Green Arrow, so. And of course, I mean, if Dr. Doom comes out in January, so he'll have a long time without any archers to mess up his day, thankfully.
Right.
So, in the after times, in the after retirement, he should be definitely worth considering, I should think. And it's not even like we're gonna have Groot to be like, oh no, I can't pull the tokens anyway. So his trait saying he can't get tokens taken off him elsewhere is barely a thing, I don't think. So
He's got.
I'm more concerned with how his team ability will stack compared to how it used to be.
We'll see.
And it's not a May either, so he can't take tokens off of other people, right?
No, instead. It's like a
Yeah, it
hard...
doesn't. It would have to say, but instead may remove the token
Yeah.
from himself or something.
Devon, your thoughts?
I love him. I'm gonna play this forever. Having a tanky Doctor Doom feels so good because I've been running the Galactic Guardians uncommon for so long, and this one flies. It feels good to have a Doom that flies. No one knows my pain for like the past 6 years. It feels like
6 years of phasing.
yeah. Phasing, copying
Oh, man.
Superman.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been hard, but his numbers are really good. He's in a starter set, so anyone can get a hold of this guy. As for what point value, I do like 200 and 100 at the best for now. 300 modern, even though his stop click has toughness, you're still going to eat a full pulse wave usually, and I feel like you're going to get hit through that even if you're picking a defense power there.
Or you're going to play against Lucas, and then you have a
Yeah. And then he just dies. That, and also at 300, you can't equip him with anything because nothing's free. So,
Yeah.
I think Exospecs with that team ability will be neat. Choosing Pulse Wave on any click, hopefully killing at least one thing. Granted, you have to kill a standard character, so no, bystanders and colossals are not going to heal you in that case. But the 3 lightning bolts, 7 range, pretty cool. I'll be interested how useful this new team ability is, because that 9 attack on the end makes me really wish he was still a wild card that I could copy Batman enemy with. At the same time, if I'm on those last clicks and I happen to kill something and I heal, maybe that's just as good. I'll just have to wait and see.
I feel like that 9 attack is. I think it's time to regen.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're surviving on those last couple clicks anyway, unless you just get really lucky with prob. Like, it just seems so unlikely.
I think an important and neat thing worth mentioning that might, I don't know if anybody's overlooked this or just didn't mention it. Part of Dr. Doom's second part of the outwit will get around Power Cosmic.
Yeah.
So having a little trouble getting through those defenses on those Power Cosmic guys. Have I got a thing for you? And there's 200 points is bigger than a lot of Power Cosmic guys out there.
You can turn off the toughness on a stop click, right?
Yeah, because it's protected.
You're declaring the power.
Yeah, same as Nick Fury. It's just not outlet.
Yeah.
Kill a Retaliator that way.
Yep. So there's a lot of options with it. I love him. I'm going to try him at all point values in some degree of practice. Like, I'm going to try to see if I can run a 300 point Dr. Doom on his own on a couple trial runs. I'll probably move down to 200, maybe even settle at 100. We'll see. But I mean,
well, he's crazy 200 because of the cosmic and mystical keywords.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's already so much you could build support wise with those keywords and him at 200. Of course, that's a great number to play that.
Scientist is also wide open.
Yeah,
as well.
Scientist.
So there's so many directions you can go with Dr. Doom. I'm madly in love with him, more so than I was before. So I'm really looking forward to the starter set beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, and also thank you for now playing in Lewisburg for posting this on my birthday. It felt so good. I was seriously sitting there at lunch like, is this Dr. Doom? It's my birthday. All right.
They knew.
They knew. But it's 2019, and this is the last episode of the Metal Lab for 2019. And it's a tradition. We've been doing it every year. It's time to recap the year and see kind of what we all thought about the year 2019 in the game of HeroClix. Now, usually we reserve this for like everybody doing a top 5. I don't know if you noticed, but we have a lot of guys on the show now.
Yeah.
So we are not going to do that. Instead, I've had everybody pick their picks for best of 2019. Now, I'm going to throw my disclaimer. This is not the objectively best of the year. This is fully our individual opinions. I sent everybody an email. I hope nobody shared with anybody or came to some kind of a final conclusion, because I kind of want to get everybody's individual opinion. And because when it comes down to best or worst, this is completely subjective. There's not like an objective best. There probably is. You could kind of put the math together and say this is objectively the best thing because it showed up in this many teams. That's not what we're doing. We're having fun. We're enjoying ourselves. So some of them might not actually be the worst figure. Some people will just have bad experiences or just be angry that this is the figure that has that. A little bit of allusion to mine. But I do like to start with the negatives and go out on the positives. So we're going to start with the worst of 2019. We took 3 categories for the worst of 2019. Worst set of 2019. The worst figure of 2019. And we're all out of honorable mentions. Just mention them in brief while you're mentioning your worst figure. And our worst personal click moment. For best, we have 4 categories. Best set, best figure, best personal clicks moment, and your favorite team of 2019. Doesn't have to be yours. So that said, we're going to start with worst figure of 2019 because I like to start on the small scale. Tom, what did you think was your personal least favorite worst figure of 2019?
Well, I brief disclaimer, and we'll get into more of this as we go, which is that 2019 for me has been a very scattered year, partly because it's been a lot less HeroClixy as compared to what I would have liked. So I don't necessarily have a whole lot of mad zingers this year as I have in past, because I don't have a lot to say. I'm going to give an honorable mention because there's a number of different ways you can go with worst, and worst could be sort of the one that you most wish hadn't been designed. Worst could, at one point, I think Faust could be argued to be one of the worst in a lot of our opinions, and no one would ever argue that he wasn't competitive, and no one would ever argue that he wasn't playable. To me, he was worst because of the impact he had on the game state. He made games less fun in a way more than any other piece that I can remember before. And to me, that is an example of a worst figure. By the same token, terrible figures are worse figures. So there's a number of different ways you can go with it. So I give us a brief honorable mention to Nimrod because I really dislike, again, the game state thing. It's not that Nimrod's not playable. It's not that you shouldn't be playing Nimrod. He's out there. He's in the game. So if you play the game, you should play the things that are in the game. And I don't like to throw shade at anybody for playing something that's legal and allowed, because that's just silly. But I don't mind throwing a little shade at the fact that the thing exists and was designed to be the way it is. And I really think Nimrod is very little fun. And so that, to me, is a good example of something that fits within my definition of I wish it hadn't been made. But to me, I think that when there's a special thing that happens when bad... I think when an uninspired design comes together with just weird choices to leave you with something that has you scratching your head as to why it exists at all. Couldn't you have just used the slot for something else? And to me, that's going to be the Starfleet Admiral from the newest Star Trek set. I'm trying to screen share it, but I don't know if it's actually working. So I'll just explain. The Starfleet app.
It isn't.
Yeah, I kind of figured it might not be. I'm just getting a never-ending blue spinning wheel. But this is a piece that is 50 points for 4 clicks, though the robust 17 defense. The damage never goes above 1. Yeah, thanks, buddy. You take care of that because I can't, obviously. So yeah, we're talking about a piece here that just has, to my line of thinking, nothing to contribute. It's got a little bit of outwit, followed by prov, followed by perplex. Arguably, you can push it to get to the thing you want. But why would you? And why would you ever spend 50 points for this when you could spend 50 points for several pieces that could fulfill this action? They've got a leadership special that is really not very good. They've got nothing to offer. I wish I could be witty, but I can't be witty because
don't you love masterminding to better figures?
like, yeah. Well, and all those and think of, it's about time that we finally got a little bit of outwit on our Starfleet teams. Like, I don't know, like I don't know what to say. Even the team ability is a joke. Like, you're gonna get that extra little bit of movement so that you can get yourself stealth bound, so that you can help outwit something. I can't be witty with this. I feel like this is a travesty, and I feel like somebody made a 30-point figure, and then there was a print error. It said 50 on it, and they said, "What do you think?" And they said, "Sell it." No one's going to play it at 30 or 50, and they were right. So this is a 30-point underwhelming figure who happens to be a 50-point travesty, and I think it's the worst piece of the year. So Starfleet Admiral, you get my nod for. I mean, I guess the Admirals were pretty much always inept and rarely helped out on Star Trek TNG, so maybe the joke's on me.
Your misprint theory is not actually that far-fetched when you remember that there was a misprint on Data.
Oddly enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, Mike, what you got?
Well, yeah, much like Tom's saying, it's tough when you're thinking about it first, like what's worst, what falls into those categories. If I was going to go to the sort of worst in terms of game state, I'd throw Onslaught in there for much the same reason, especially the way he played out in the Popper events and so forth. For me, there were a couple of figures I was looking at, things like Fantasia and Scanner and Jackal. Oh, Jackal. He sounds like he should work, and it sounds really good, but it's the downside of that thing. It just never really works out. But really, it was between two figures for me, one of which was X-51. Just why did we make this super rare? He looks somehow like he's really good at 75 points, and there's high values there, but you hit him once, he hits the stop click, you hit him a second time, he's dead, and it's really not hard to do that.
Really disappointing.
He's so insanely disappointing, especially if you read the series. There's just so many more things they could have done. I mean, for these 75 points, they should have had fun with the character and actually made him a kind of support piece you'd want to put on the team. It's just a giant missed opportunity in my opinion. But he's tied with Starbrand, because why? Just why? Just hey, let's take up a chase slot with just why? It's so pointless. Not a good figure. Hats off to Devon Owens for trying to play him in an event, and I think he actually got some wins with him. So
top 8 of that event.
Yeah, which is crazy. But yeah, definitely Starbrand. What the hell? Hot mess. So yeah.
All right, Jay.
I was gonna do one and then do my other one as an honorable mention, but then Tom said a Star Trek figure, so I'm also gonna go with one. Honorable mention to the Deadpool from X-Men, because it was just like,
yeah.
Why? If you were gonna throw in Deadpool, like, just I don't know. I felt like it could have been an actual dial and not just the shenanigans, mental hallucination, whatever it was. And I was gonna name another figure, but it was so bad I just forgot about it all over again. But my actual one is going to be Armus, because what? Like a damn it, Tom, you missed.
Sorry.
I was going with
Armus.
Armus.
Mike's in the end. It was an X-51?
No, Mike's was X-51.
Starbrand.
Oh, it was actually Starbrand.
I forgot about
Starbrand.
Nice chase. I'll do a straight swap for a Starfleet Admiral.
Yeah, I think you can get it for like $5 now or something. But my pick Actually, I guess I'll throw another honorable mention of the Q that's not the Prime because he does the same thing but worse. Like I don't know
Yes.
why he exists.
Oh, he makes alien soldiers, Jay. Good.
Yeah, he's fine if you don't consider that the other one exists.
Yeah.
But my actual pick is Armus because how did a figure that killed a main cast person on the show turn into a 200-point character that starts with plasticity?
Did you see the dial they gave Tasha Yar?
Yeah, right? He is so good.
It's because he didn't actually kill her. Her desire to be a film star killed her on the show.
How'd that go
Yay.
for her?
Hello.
She's got that pet cemetery.
I'm just looking at the dial again. I don't know if Jason wants to screen share it.
Oh, it's screen sharing. Don't worry.
3 clicks of 14 defense and a 13 for 200 points. I was so hopeful that this was going to be an okay figure or like at least like fun to play, but oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
Love
rare
that.
that I look at a figure and say I will not even play this in casual, but oh my god. Just Armus, why?
Oh, that 3 movement, the movement on this guy. Look at this. He sidesteps almost as far as he moves.
And the movement power when he's got 3 hits at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
If Armus is not within 4 squares of another character, deal him 1 unavoidable damage.
Oh, give me a break. Shawn Michaels can stay away from him without even taking an action.
And he's just a sexy boy.
It's amazing race between Andre the Giant. Whoever can get across the map first.
All right,
Modify
Devin.
his defense +1. I think that might be the funniest thing I've ever seen on this defense dial. Any special power that says modify my defense +1. Oh, great. It's a 15 now.
Oh boy.
I think
I'm gonna
this
do
would
it,
be.
guys. Believe in me.
I think I would play this figure in a tournament, a Bizarro tournament, but also one where you give your opponent the team instead. That'd be pretty fun.
Here you go,
13
Bizarro
defense.
Armus. Why? Why? No,
Yeah.
I concede.
Bizarro tournament would definitely be something.
Here you got my team with Armus. I concede. I'm out.
Yeah. I'm glad he has improved movement. It's hard to call that an improvement on anything.
Have movement. How can it be improved? All right,
Oh,
Devin.
All right.
Hold on.
My pick. Go ahead.
Breathe.
No, that's all right.
Go ahead.
Breathe in.
Oh,
Breathe in. Get ready. Get ready.
Oh.
All right.
Is yours
Mine-
funny?
This is what disappointed me most in a figure this year. He was what I was looking forward to the most out of the bunch, and he's not even the worst one. That is the Red Death Chase from Rebirth.
I hate a
Oh.
disappointing chase.
Yeah. I have friends that play the Batman miniatures game with Knights models. They are on the cutting edge of DC content. They received the Dark Knights metal figures basically a year and a half before we did. So I had a year and a half of waiting, getting excited because I love Speed Force characters. I love evil Speed Force characters, and I love like multi-universe events with DC. So this is the best of the bunch for me. And oh boy, does Red Death just not deliver at all. For 200 points, you get 8 clicks of life, and the highest you get is an 11 attack, which isn't the worst ever, but also not great with 0 range.
Yeah.
No improved movement through characters, so plasticity will still stop you. You don't go above a 3 damage for 200 points.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
then-
how much damage output you really want for 200 points, though. I mean, 3 damage is pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
I will
And then-
point out this is my favorite activity with Tom, by the way.
And then in the same year, that Kobik Trader releases, where you just basically lock down a tentpole team for free at the start of the game. We get Red Death's damage or trait here, where if he hits a character with an attack, you generate a storm marker under that character's square. And then as long as you activate this power on not a turn you generated the marker, you can roll the die for the chance to give them an action token for 200 points. It's so good, right?
So just say
No,
for-
WizKids won't make like the ability to just give 2 action tokens for free. That would be broken, right?
so
You got to
for
make it
50
a
points
chance
less,
roll.
I can take no action and just give you 2.
Yeah, yeah. Seems it's like someone entirely different designed the set than Marvel
Wow.
figures.
Again,
I'll
though,
go
he's
into
got
that
a,
in more detail.
he's got a full dial of hypersonic, so you just grab an object and then you go across the field.
Yeah. But then by the time you get to your last 2 clicks with a 9 attack, you'll just die. To make it even worse, he has a 100-point start line where you start on the impervious click. So that would be, if you're looking at the 200-point line, that's
I got
click
it up.
4
Yeah.
with 5 clicks of life. And oh boy, does he just die.
Yeah,
It
but
is-
you can push him onto Empower. I mean, you're focusing on the wrong
Yeah,
thing.
right?
here.
Oh man. Hey. All right, guys. Batman absorbed the speed force from the Flash. He has Empower and a 10 attack, and if you Psychic Blast him, he dies.
So Batman is so
Yeah.
unimpressed with the Speed Force, he got
Yeah.
dumber and less.
In Batman's Night Metals, in the story he's from, he almost ended the multiverse. What if he just died in 5 damage?
Yeah, he also apparently lost his ability to use a grappling hook because now he has
Yeah,
to go around buildings.
Can't run, can't phase through anything. No outwit protection, no stealth.
Oh my god!
I think that this is one of the pieces, though, that I think shows the benefit of why they've gone to the ability of letting your opponents look at the back of your card. Because this is the sort of piece where if you just look at the first click, you might be inclined to think, boy, this guy must be nasty.
Yeah.
And then they'll look at the back of your card and immediately be sympathetic to your team.
It's
They're
like, oh my
like,
god,
oh.
this guy's. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's like it's the ultimate in like being able to prove that you're not playing cheese. Because if people are just like, oh, look who showed up with the cheesy chase, it's like, yeah, look at the back of this card.
Definitely in this case. And then when I was, well, I'll go over it because I saved the worst of the bunch for later. But he's not even the worst one when you think about it.
Wait, what
It's
is
bad.
because what is your
Devastator.
worst? Devastator.
Yeah, Devastator's
The
really quite
Doomsday
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, Devastator is the worst one. Of those.
Devastator
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
terrible too.
But Red Death disappointed me the most because he was the one I was looking forward to.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I appreciate that WizKids sends us bricks to open for our unboxing videos, and I maintain positivity through those. It was hard when Devastator was the chase. It was like, oh, Devastator, cool.
You've got that smile where like one side of your mouth starts twitching.
Yeah.
It's one of those cases where you got something for free, but it still costed too much.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. Everything's okay.
This is fine. This is fine.
Everything's just fine.
All right. So my worst figure. This is more part of, I like the character and I feel like they still did him wrong, even though it was a different version of him. But my honorable mention, and I feel burned by this because Tom took the skull over this figure, and it is the Prime 001 Venom from Earth X. Tom passed this figure in favor of the skull in a battle royale. And I was like, second pick, you left me a Prime? What's going on here? I didn't know too much about the figure.
To be fair, I actually like this Venom, so I'm interested to hear your rant against it.
Yeah,
To be
Right.
fair,
Right.
he won a
Yes,
state with
Okay,
it, so
I want to point out that this is not this figure is bad. This figure is
Right.
bad for Jason because Jason sees, shape change and super senses. I can get around my bad rolls with 2 chances to no, I can't.
That's not how that works.
It's not how it works for Jason. No. I'm bound to make one of them. Nope. The dice gods were not in my favor on this one. But I'm a fan of Deathstroke. I love me some Deathstroke. He's really cool villain. He's fantastic character. But this what the hell is the word I want to look for? This version of him bothers me. And it's the uncommon from Rebirth. Figure number 17. He's got that remember we're the good guys thing, hey, if none of the characters are KO'd by his attacks, you can heal a click. Great, cool. This is boring. This is a boring Deathstroke. This is
what you want with a guy named Deathstroke.
right?
Up
Deathstroke.
front
This is what I
in
want
cap.
him doing. Let's in cap, not with my best attack up front, nonetheless. Only if I take one damage, and I've got defend with a 17 defense. You can have the you got a 17 defense. You can have you got a 17 defense too. What do you mean you have 18 defense?
Yeah, they should have named him Soft Stroke.
Sponge stroke.
Soft cell.
Nerf stroke.
Nerf stroke.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
At least, but hey, I mean, at least he's got 5 range and 1 target. That's pretty
Can't be-
Deathstroke.
Single target ink cap is
overpowered.
the way to go.
Yeah, if you've got to use ink cap, single target's what you want.
Hey
Yeah,
man,
One at a time, just one
Look.
winning cap at a time.
at least he's got 12 attack on that second click that you're never going to overshoot when he
what-
gets hit right past
Who's
it.
seen the second click? Because you push to it. Oh, cool! I've got 18 defense. What do you mean you hit me?
Dude, he's got toughness top dial. There's no way they're going to knock him past the second click. Come on. Toughness defend in a 17. There's no
Maybe
way
if he's
they're
against Prime Venom.
Yeah.
Got that up front too.
Ugh. Okay. I love this game, by the way.
I like how his trait says if he hits with an attack, and as long as he doesn't KO a character, and it's like, I doubt
no,
he'll.
no great
He's
fear
not
of
going
that.
to do that. Don't worry, bud.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
Yeah,
buddy.
If you
He's
want to
got
heal
this.
off the push that you just did.
Yeah.
It's like every click below the first is actually better. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very true, and I mean it's enough to make you want to like ignore his indomitable. But
Oh, wait. Oh.
He's like old man Deathstroke, right? Give me a second. I'll just spread it around.
Yeah,
Jay?
he puts the stroke in Deathstroke.
Oh,
I need your help on here. Is this just HG Realms that doesn't have him with any keywords? I know I hated this dial, but I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure he
he's
had,
the, like-
I think he has like
Defiance
Defiance, and that's
in
it.
there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
Like,
Playable.
Then I can fit him on my Defiance themed team.
yeah, that literally.
Boy.
Oh, hey, look at the rest of my honorable mentions.
Like Speedster Deathstroke. I thought that's where you were going.
No, the honorable mentions with Defiance keyword.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Oh, God, now that we're done killing each other on this one, let's talk about the set. What is your worst set of 2019? And that doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, this set is so bad. It's what set is your least favorite set? I'm going to let Mike start this category.
You know, this was really hard for me. I mean, I had to kind of keep going back to the realms and confirm the date of everything. Because my first reaction was really going to be Battle World, but that was just at the end of
Really? That's gonna be your
2018.
worst.
Well, just
But,
because
Tom,
honestly,
he wasn't there when we did really well and Team Sealed with it.
yeah, and
Television.
honestly, when I look at everything that came out this year, like Avengers, the Black Panther Illuminati set, I like that set. The Earth X had a lot of cool equipment in that set, and there were some interesting figures in that set. Definitely in the super rare slots. X-Men animated set was pretty cool. Like, there's a lot of good stuff that came out this year. I'm not a big fan of Star Trek, but there was a lot of playable things. I've seen people pull stuff out of those sets. Avengers Infinity was actually last year, and that was a great set. Oh my god, that was a great set. So I really struggled trying to nail it down to what I thought was the worst set. And it ended up being more of a throwaway vote for me. I threw it at Captain Marvel set because
fair.
it's kind of the set that I didn't really see much getting played from. It was all pretty much a very boring, mediocre movie set. Like, people love that chase, but other than that, it's like, who's really playing anything out of the set? It's the one that kind of left its mark the least on the year, and especially the year of meta, which is the only reason why I threw at it the worst set of the year, as it were. An honorable mention, in a way, I would actually say Earth X, because I think that set, it had some hits, but there were a lot of misses in that set too. When you really go down the set and you start sort of looking at all the figures and looking at their dials, there's a lot of misses. There's a lot of stuff that kind of looked like it might have some impact and just never really did. So I would say it's a set that was more about that equipment than anything else. The figures in the set really weren't so great compared to the equipment out of it. So that's an honorable mention. Captain Marvel movie would be my worst set.
All right, Jay, what do you have to say about this?
This is really not an easy year to go with. Like, even the Orville had like the best pog ever, and the map is just really good and has the basically the Enterprise. So
Yeah. And that's
Can't
not
argue with that.
that's not a set.
It's yeah. I mean, it's all we have of that universe, but that wasn't even going to be it anyway.
Yeah.
I guess if I was going for an honorable mention, I think it would. I guess it would have to be the second Star Trek Gravity Feed, because like honestly, there was really not much in there.
It was
Like,
weaker
there
than
was
first for sure.
yeah, like there were like the shifting focus options for Data and Worf were really good, and there was like a couple, but like, but there was just
Yeah.
enough that it kind of redeemed it for me. And of course, more Mirror Universe is good because it's very limited keyword as it is. But I ended up going with Regenesis because I mean, if that doesn't count, I can. I mean,
No, I think
it
it
seems
counts.
like as
No,
much of a set
Regenesis
as
counts.
anything else.
Regenesis counts.
Yeah. The problem was just that it wasn't that fun a sealed set to play, I don't know who disagrees with that. But then the Wolverine in question is just not that good otherwise.
Mhm.
And like it's just the problem with an X-Men set like this is that it's just full of the characters we get a million times, but almost all of the ones that are remade, like outside of like the unique ones that we don't get often, like Gambit or Hope or whatever, were good. But like the ones that we get a million times, like Cyclops and Magneto and whatever, they were just pretty underwhelming. Like I don't know what commons in this set I'm looking to use outside of Beast and Kitty off of the ID card, like ever. I just don't. The only time I considered playing a Jean Grey School theme was a scenario I made where you could keyword cheat characters that would otherwise not fit because the dupe we got
So it
from that
works.
comic doesn't have the keyword. What?
And the stats are just low on average for their point
Yeah,
values
it's
of what
just
you
I don't
can
know.
get
I just
elsewhere.
don't. Yeah, I just look at this set and I'm like, yeah, this set pops up when I look up X-Men. I just don't see myself really using much of it. A bunch of the LEs are good.
Yeah.
And the chases, but just as far as like the figures you're going to see the most of, like the commons and rares, it's just I just not very inspired to ever really use them, look at them, and then if you're going to have figures that you have 10 million copies of afterwards, it's like I don't know.
The guys, Cannonball and Warbird were so great.
Yeah. I will
Those are
give
good.
them that outside of the Wolverine and Sealed, it's a good introductory point to HeroClix for a new player to understand this is the base level of what stuff does, and then for them to immediately understand that the following X-Men set is just better over.
Yeah.
Yeah, just dunks right all
for
over.
your points. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just nothing really straight up bad, but it's just if you're
They
gonna
wanted
make
to
the
get them
X-Men
used to the game and then also used to power creep immediately.
Yeah. All right, Devin, what you got?
All right, I'm staying in the same set. I'm saying DC Rebirth because overall values on figures for your point values were lower than Marvel for the year. And since we're limited to one DC set a year, that means your DC figures for the year, on average, are just not going to stand up to getting punched by Captain America for 5. Speaking of that uncommon Deathstroke for 75 points, starting on 17 defense, the 50-point common Wolverine from X-Men Animated has an 18 defense and Indom.
And he doesn't have the nerve to try to share his defense.
Yeah, he just kills
Yeah,
people.
but he's only 6 clicks deep. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Granted,
clicks a lot of
you have, like-
dinero.
Yeah, as with any set, you have figures that shine. Even the common 100-point Deathstroke is fine for what he does. You have the Prime Black Adam.
Take up space in the other room.
Yeah.
Hey,
You have the Howard Brock chosen.
play it over the uncommon.
Yeah, you have the Howard Brock chosen Billy Bastion Shazam, which if a player wins a championship and makes a figure, you'd better hope it has decent powers and stats overall. Otherwise, that'd be super disappointing. But for being DC Rebirth and introduction to a relaunch of the DC universe, the figures they chose, like Teen Titans, for a relaunch of the whole entire DC universe was kind of meh. Especially when you had to sit through 2 versions of them: the regular Teen Titan version and then. What was the team ability? What was the
Defiance.
Defiance, yeah. The Defiance was just a waste of slots, in my opinion. They could have gone with so much other stuff, especially for choosing a chase theme of Dark Knight's Metal, when that story encompassed like basically everything DC has been doing for the past 5 years.
All right. I'm actually the inverse of Jay, oddly enough. For my honorable mention is going to go to Regenesis because the tournament play was just terrible to watch. But everything, for the most part, with the exception of the chases I made fun of earlier, had some kind of place as an ID card alternative, though not the ideal choice. It had its place in the game. But Star Trek Boldly Go just felt like the other half of Resistance is Futile before they decided, you know what, we're gonna go single packs with Resistance is Futile. And in addition, you got things like the Starfleet Admiral, who, and then we got the Data, who is got the wrong point value on his shifting focus. And just in general, you got things like Armis is in there. We laughed at a 200-point character hysterically. Like everything about Boldly Go felt like everything that was missing. That was supposed to be an entire Star Trek: The Next Generation. This was supposed to be the filler that went with the same set with Resistance is Futile, and they're like, split it up. But then they were like, here's a good set, and here's a bad set.
Yeah,
it's fair.
It's still even missing figures. We never got the Mark Twain.
Nope. Or the map.
Yeah.
Or a map of the Star Trek bridge that isn't.
It got hit hard when they split it up.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't have a lot of really new ideas to contribute to the group here. My pick is going to be Regenesis for most of the reasons that Jay already went over. I mean, to me, there's a few different ways of doing a mediocre set, because I don't think, frankly, I don't know if any of the sets were really terrible. I think, statistically speaking, if you were to say to me, what was the set that produced the stuff that was on the whole the least playable that you will play the least, it probably was the second TNG set, to be fair. But I personally like TNG, so that gives it some extra points from me alone. And if you're going to make a mediocre set, there's one thing to do it TNG style, which is give us lots of new characters we haven't seen before and in a new universe that we haven't had a chance to explore that much, and at least give us some niche things that'll be kind of fun to throw into your teams if you enjoy playing in that universe. It's another thing to give us basically exclusively pieces that we've seen before, especially at the rarities that were achievable within any given booster, just tons of pieces that we've seen tons of that were lackluster compared to what's come before and lackluster compared to what's come after. And so, there's mediocrity with new things is, I think, a little more forgivable than mediocrity with the same old things. Couple it with I think a kind of a bad idea for a tournament style. Like, I really didn't enjoy the Regenesis events very much. No. And I think that the set itself was actually badly designed for its own purpose. Then it all kind of has a snowball effect. So to me, Regenesis would be the most disappointing.
It was super funny on month 2 when they announced a change to their tournament structure.
Yeah, right.
In the first place. Yeah. You knew it was a bad sign.
Well, because Wolverine was so insanely broken. Yeah. I mean, month 1, if you pulled Wolverine and Beast, it was like a lock. You were so going to win that thing. I mean, I totally agree with all those points, and it was on my short list originally. The only reason I pulled it off of my honorable mention was I've actually made teams since then with it. I made a Utopia team for Sean to play on Thursday, and he almost went 3-0 with it. So I just see some playability in the set a little bit, but I totally agree. It is the worst sealed set. The worst idea they've had in a long time. That Wolverine is the antithesis of fun in a sealed format. Like,
we'll give it both gambits. Yeah, that's about it.
Both gambits are pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. So now we move to a little bit of significantly more personal one, and it's your worst personal Clicks moment of 2019. And Jay, you get to start this one.
Oh man, only Tom's gonna get this one. Lockjaw choosing Leap.
Excellent.
It was basically in our Ontario States Finals game. I just needed Lockjaw to either phase or Leap, and I was like, it's an outdoor map. I can use Leap. I'm never ever gonna choose Leap again, so why not?
I love that your worst moment is also a comedy moment.
Yeah.
No, that was more the honorable mention. Oh, that was the funny one.
Yeah.
The actual worst one, it was a pretty good year for me, but the worst one is basically at the Rock Cup. I realized that the way my schedule was working, I was able to play the qualifier or whatever tournament after the team event, and I sit down. I'm debating between two teams. I'm debating between the Stock Kobuk team and the basically Isaac's team, just because I didn't bring anything and I had to borrow. So I was like, the Gardener seems fun. I tweaked it a little bit. So I decided not to go with the Kobuk. and then I sit against Matt Esbrook round 1. So I had to play against Women Army Unimind and not just auto win that. And then the tournament ended up being won by a full point Unimind, so that just felt really bad. Even though the person that won, Adam Friedman, told me that I should play the Kobik, and I did regret it immensely. So,
It's fair.
All right. Devon, your worst personal clicks moment for 2019.
This would have to be probably the first side event Saturday night at the World Championship, where had you gotten to play every round, you would have played a team from a different universe each round. And I had actually been looking forward to this all day because I had brought fun teams for all each round. It was going to be a nice, relaxing tournament. I ended up winning my DC round. I should mention only like what, Jay, was it?
It was
people?
literally 4 people.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be 4 rounds, but we only had
dropped?
4 people.
No, was it 5? We had a bye.
Oh no.
No, was there? I don't remember. We ended up making it shorter than.
Yeah. Maybe it was 3. I forget. Anyway, my friend Simi and I, we flew together. We were playing. I played Simi in round 1. We played my DC team. We just had some fun. Round 2, you played Marvel, and I brought some silly Avengers themed team with the Prime She-Hulk and Iron Spidey Suit Spider-Man. And I sit down against Chad Birdsall. Chad, if you're watching, I love him. He's my friend. But he pulls out full dial Unimind, and I'm just like, why am I even playing? I proceed to just lose automatically, 0-point win loss. And then round 3, which was a mixed universe, but you could choose between Turtles, Star Trek, or combining the two. I didn't get to play that at all because I had to buy. And that was going to be pretty fun. I had a Shredder and Mudman and a bunch of the video game ninjas. Would have been cool. And we ended up not even playing a 4th round where you had to have at least one of each figure.
Yeah, so it ended up being Chad cheesed it so hard he won by round 3.
Yeah, we can't beat him.
Yeah,
the sweetest revenge was the prizes were listed as you get a random factory set, and he won a factory set of Shredder's Return, which was retired.
Well, that is random.
Yeah, they made me judge that tournament. And I don't know why.
Yeah,
they even.
Yeah, I remember you walking in like, what are we doing? What is it?
Yeah, I had no idea.
What are you guys playing? Each round is different. What? So because they did what they do for these side events, they never advertise it with the initial posting. They always add it after the fact. So everyone always goes to the win page when it's first announced. There's no side events other than Battle Royales listed, so no one knows about this.
Mm-hmm.
So we all got a con LE just for showing up. And then by day 2, the better, more well-attended side event, everyone found out about day 1 or Saturday night's side event. So they're like, oh, we can just get a con LE for showing up if there's less than 8 players. But yeah, Saturday nights felt pretty bad, just losing, pretty much not getting to play 2 games in a row because I didn't do anything to Unimind, and then I didn't even get to play the Turtles team I brought. So that's my lowest point.
All right. So mine, 2019 had a lot of it was not a good year for me at all. I did not perform in HeroClix in any way, shape, or form. And when I did perform, it wasn't enough. Or it was just a weird situation where it's like, oh, I'm pretty close to the top. Oh, this weird situation occurred where that got me knocked out. All right, awesome. But there was one highlight bad moment for me. And it's that reflection of, you do well one year and then you absolutely tank the next year. And it came down to my personal Team World performance 2019. I went 0-5. And it's just it was heartbreaking because there was maybe one game I had a chance, and it didn't work out for me. So just overall, I think my personal performance in Team World 2019, between both just kind of dealing with what we built, what we decided to. What I decided to go with, and just how I played out the games in some cases, or just how many of the games I kind of. By turn 2, I had just lost. There was a no-win situation on the way back. It was rough going for me. So that's kind of my personal worst performance and personal worst kind of low point, I think, because for as bad a year as I had in HeroClix, that was definitely the most embarrassing for me. All right, Tom.
Well, I mean, it's probably not any great comfort now, but we never really did decompress about that whole thing, and I mean, no sweat, man.
Well, no,
Like,
I did have the sweats, but it was later that night with the amount of pork I consumed.
yeah, that's fair. But that was just it. Like that was the like it was a great time,
Where'd you guys go?
and it's not like we dominated the
Marlowe's, I think it's called.
yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
The place with the
Mhm.
pink limo.
I missed my flight because I tried
Yeah,
to order
Marlowe's.
food the last day. It was scary.
But yeah,
I
no,
won't interrupt.
I think you did I think you did a fine job. You did the best with what you could, and we all did the best with what we could. There's no reason to beat yourself up about it. I get that, if that's your worst, then that's your worst. But
Yeah.
don't need to be embarrassed on our account.
Yeah, no stress over here, my
Yeah,
friend.
there, but for the grace of a few dice rolls, go we.
Every day.
For me, I'm afraid it's a bit of a cop out, but I have to be honest. My worst clicks moment of 2019 is the last 3 months, in which there just hasn't been any. This has been a very turbulent year for me from the perspective of this game, because right off of the end of 2018, after we came back from Worlds, I was feeling kind of burnt, and so I didn't play very much in the first month or two, and then things got busy again as we were doing preparation for the first round of provincials and states, and we did all that, and that was lots of fun. And then I kind of got out of it, and again back in a little bit in the summer, but it was looking like I couldn't make Canadian Nationals, even though I did kind of last minute make that work. Much like I last minute made my way to New York a few weeks ago.
Called it.
that is my way. I've missed a lot, and the last 3 months I really feel like I've missed a lot because I missed the actual release of animated series, which we got our hands on early at Worlds, of course, but I never got a chance to play in those sealed events and never really got a chance to be in the flow of getting my hands on the new stuff. The WWE released after much fanfare, and then it turned out to be, and I think I must admit, I think it was designed way better than I thought it would be. I think they exceeded themselves, and I never had a chance to really be in the flow of it in the moment that it was coming out. New Star Trek came out, and I got my product, but I just didn't have a chance to share the stuff with the people. And I think we've long gone back to the point that the best thing about this game isn't the little pieces of plastic, it's the people with whom you share the bond over those little pieces of plastic. And I've really missed that. It's not that I haven't been busy, and it's not that I regretted the time that I've spent doing the things that I've been doing. But I feel like a bit of a stranger in my own house at the moment, and I am happy to be at least talking about it more, and hopefully soon I'll be able to play it more. But yeah, my worst clicks moment has been the dearth of clicks, especially in the last part of the year.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. That's why it was a rough year for me. It was hard to pick a bad moment. Mike?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a funny thing too, because there's all kinds of different moments in clicks. There's highs and lows, and dice. Oh my God, there's so many times. My Witch Queen losing her special power 5 of 6 rounds of a tournament because I missed with her is never a fun thing. I'd say my sort of honorable mention goes to Battle Royal and Canadian Nationals when I pulled an Ultra Chase Thanos and was like, oh my God, I can't believe I have this in my hand. And in fact, I think I also had like Astronomer on that team. I had a really stacked sealed team, and I knew I was going to do something colossally stupid and not win the game. And what I did was I picked up, it was Possessor. I picked up Possessor's card, and I read Possessor's card as though it was Thanos's card, and put him in position to do something, and then went, oh, he's not the person with that power. He is. And he's over there, and you're over there. And now I spent a whole bunch of turns having to reposition everything to take no points and finish third and watch somebody else.
You managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, I got one attack off, hit a high point character, which the guy who won the game took that character and got those points and got those. So it was like I literally gift wrapped Ultra Chase Thanos over to him. The only reason that's not my worst moment is because of the fact that I then luckily went on to finish second and actually got a Ultra Chase Thanos in there. So my dumb luck rectified my stupidness from earlier. But honestly, I would say my worst clicks moment, it's more of a blanket. Any time I've ever let my passion get the better of me. Because every single person who's playing this game is playing the game to win as well, right? I mean, in all cases, when we sit down across from each other, we've built a team, and our intention is to win this game as much as my intention is to win this game. So no one person deserves it more than any other person. No one person wants it more or less than any of it. You know what I mean? We're all competitors and we all want it. So I just wanted to say that I love that I get to play this game. I love all the different people I played games with. I'm sorry for every moment where I'm passionate and heated about a thing, and I know it's not life or death, but it comes out like it's life or death in the moment, because I am so grateful that I get to play this game and meet all of you and enjoy this experience. And I hate any moment that takes away from the joy of that. I want to give a shout out to Emily Rowett, that she is probably one of my most favorite people to play HeroClix with, because she keeps the right attitude as much as possible. I know lots of people love to play against Emily. We call her the smiley face killer because she can play this game, she can play it really well, but she always keeps the right attitude, and I admire that in her, and I think that's a great thing. So so that for me, my worst moment is anytime I let the desire to win get the better of the game itself.
All right, cool. And we already covered Jay, so we move next. Okay, so that was us taking the negativity out of the year. It's time to talk positive, and what do we like about the year, and what did we really enjoy? So we're going to start with our best stuff, and we're going to start with our best figure or favorite figure of 2019. And Devon, you get to take the lead on this one.
I loved the WizKid Open Reverse Flash or Zoom. It was a lot of fun. I actually played a team. We had a win a map event outside of Wakefield, Nebraska, which has a population of like 200. But we know a guy who runs a HeroClix league out of his wife's church, and he has basically every kid in town playing HeroClix. So they always come down for our main events. We go up there for a win a map if they happen to host one. And I forget the format, but I ended up running 3 of the Reverse Flash Zooms with equipment. Now,
Nice.
they're unique in that if they use hypersonic speed after resolutions of that hypersonic speed use, you roll a die, and I believe it's like a 50-50, you take an action token off of them. But you don't have to you don't actually have to attack to use hypersonic speed, you can just move with it. So their first turn move actions to go pick up the equipment, well, they'd had a chance to roll out of. If they did, they could equip turn 2 and then turn 3 still go. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. Cool.
Just letting people take a peek at that Reverse Flash. All right. Next up.
It's you.
That's me. Oh my gosh. We're back around to me. All right. Mine comes from my long-standing love of pro wrestling. And what better than
We can't.
to enjoy the idea of the zombie mortician, the Undertaker.
The dead man.
If ever there's a more imposing character, both in the real world of pro wrestling and in the game of HeroClix, they managed to capture, it was the Undertaker.
That's awesome.
He's just a big meaty dial. He's plodding, slowly moving towards, except for turn 1. And he's got that stop click. He just feels unstoppable. He feels untouchable. They got the right game feel for it. They got the right characterization of the Undertaker. I love it. I'm into it. Undertaker is my best figure of 2019 with an honorable mention going to Earth X Iron Man. I got some mileage out of that guy. Tom.
Well, you told a story earlier there, Jason, about the fact that while we were playing a random battle royal, then I passed over the Prime Venom in favor of the Skull, and there was a reason why I did that. It's because my favorite figure of the year was absolutely the Skull. I love the Skull. It's funny, I remember driving up to a Comic Warehouse with Mike, and Mike commenting on the fact of the Skull. I just don't see what it's all about. And I was I didn't want to turn it into a debate, but I was just like, boy, I really love that Skull. I can't wait to get my hands on him. And it feeds in well. Even though Earth X came out in 1999, 2000, when I was, to all intents and purposes, an adult. I mean, I was finishing out my teenage years at that point. So this is the sort of story that you would think you have when you were 8, not when you were 18, 19 or whatever. But I remember reading Earth X, and I remember feeling like the Skull was such an oppressive enemy that like I would have nightmares about him because he was just like literally like a child, like the way that like when you engage with the stuff when you're a child, you have this irrational emotional reaction because it's just like the bad guys seem so bad and so oppressive that you, in the same way that like Earthquake would give me nightmares when I was a kid, when he would like he'd do the vertical splash on people and they would have to get brought out in stretchers and stuff watching WWE as a kid. Like that's the type of effect that reading Earth X had when I read about the Skull, who could just
He
control
was attacking your mind regardless of rain.
Exactly. Like and they so perfectly captured it, right? Because it was the idea that he just needs to know you're there and you're under his control. And his control over Captain America, like I have to reread it, but I always got the impression that he just didn't bother with Cap because it was more soul crushing for him not to control Cap but to control everyone else, and he was just this wonderfully oppressive, overwhelming villain, and that really hit me on an emotional level, and I really enjoyed the Earth X comics. And then when the actual set came out, I was so impressed with him. And I'm like, cheap disciple of the tank or the Church of the Pym tank.
He's like a quarterback. Just kicks that thing.
He really is. And so you got that, but there's so much more to him too. And I love the fact that he's got all the stop clicks. He's a great source of leadership. He's very hard to get rid of with the mastermind that can mastermind up, and he can get himself into position, and just the ability to mind control, triple target if you get close, single target anywhere on the map as long as he can see you. It's a perfect representation of the character. It's super cheap for what it is, and I want to put him on almost all the teams that I can. And like, it's amazing how often people just aren't ready for him to look across the entire field, see you, and make you pay. I love the Skull. He's one of my favorite figures ever in HeroClix, and he's definitely my favorite figure this year.
The best is when they don't look at the card first and they're like, I'm going to choose an outdoor map, and you're just like, yes,
do the thing, just do that thing.
All right, Mike.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be the best of, not favorite, but that's okay. I'll cover both bases on this.
I'll still take. He's still one of the best.
I'm going to throw out that I personally, one of the best figures of the year, I think clearly was Kobik. We saw Kobik all over the place. People were playing Kobik in many different ways. I used a Kobik in very effective ways in my run for Canadian Nationals and at Worlds. Great figure, lots of different ways to play her. Definitely, I think she's one of the best figures of the year. But my favorite figures of the year, it's a bit of a tie. One of which I would also throw in as one of the best figures of the year would be Wendigo. Oh my God, those things are just nuts. And the fact that I managed to pull two naturally was the most exciting thing ever, and now I just want to play two of them on like every team possible. I think it's a great figure, lots of versatility to it, multiple, like you literally can play them at multiple point lines, and all of them have different effectivenesses playing them at the different point lines. Love the figure, think it's great, and sort of almost part and parcel with him because I've been obsessed with Monster lately. My favorite figure of the year is actually Mojo. And
really?
That's really happened more recently because of the way he's been playing and in practices that I've been using him in, because I am trying a Monster team.
Board!
And, yeah, the board tokens are fantastic.
George.
If you put him on a team...
Painful memories of George. Board.
Right? Remember that? That was so good. Board. Well, it's fun when it's working for you, let me tell you. If you've got a lot of super senses on your team and you manage to roll those super senses, well, those count as misses. So you start getting board tokens when people start missing you on super senses. And I love him. Sidestepping up the map as your opponent keeps sidestepping, so you keep moving him up. If you get a bunch of board tokens, now all of a sudden you can pop him somewhere else on the map and maybe do an ID call in. At 75 points, he starts with all that great stuff, plus TK and Perplex. Yeah, I love this mojo. I never thought I would ever say that about a mojo. And especially as Tom mentioned, after the trouncing I received from this mojo at a battle royal with George Massow. Thanks, buddy. Bored. I was bored of getting beat.
Bored.
Well, see, someone using mojo against me is great because I miss like crazy. So you're going to get board tokens out the wazoo. I mean, come on. So anyway, those would be the three figures I would sort of mention on the year. With throwing in an honorable mention, of course, the Juggernaut, because oh my God, come on.
Yeah.
Juggernaut.
I mean, to be fair, to your point about the best figure of the year, I mean, it would be hard to argue with Kobek.
No,
I think Eddie Guerrero might be up there as well. We've already heard about the Undertaker. I think as far as just the sheer effectiveness that came out of the WWE set, it's hard to beat Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you let me play Undertaker, he's horrible. I played him Thursday, and he died in every game without ever doing anything. It was ridiculously how bad I play Undertaker.
All right, Jay.
I was gonna say one, but I'll give. Oh man, who did I give honorable mention to? It doesn't really matter. They're both. I don't care. I'm breaking the rules. They're equally good because some of the support pieces.
For your top spot?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the figures both have their place, and they're both support pieces. So yeah, the support pieces we got this year were. I mean, what do we have? We have Trader. We have. I don't think I need to say anything besides Trader, and then the next two. But
yeah, I think I know where you're going. So don't bury the lead.
Number one, or one of them, is the figure that I literally have to physically stop myself from playing on every team because he can go on every team because it's Prez. Because I just don't understand the point formula anymore if there is one. Like 18 Defend on its own used to be like its own thing. And then you just get that on top of your character that can like leadership your whole team.
Brutal leadership.
Or now you can stop your opponent's WWE pieces from using their signature moves. Like Undertaker, I don't know wrestling, but I'm just imagining Undertaker has the tombstone and it just like disappears. I don't know how it works. But he just stops them from.
He has the tombstone.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. We got an official new show idea. Is Jay explains pro wrestler powers?
I can do that.
Well,
Eddie Guerrero has the Naruto cloning powers, right? That's how he has triple.
You kind of imagine that Perez is such a good leader that he just makes Sean like fall over while he's warming up the band. Like, he just like breaks his ankle.
Yep, takes
away the Rock's microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, and the fact that there's just so many opportunities that you can take tokens off of opposing characters that don't matter. Like, oh, hey, you have a call-in character who has a token. I don't care if they lose a token before they disappear. Or your random little thing that doesn't matter. Your Leslie Evans that I gave you myself. Like, just take a token off of him, pull a token off of whatever figure I feel like. It's just so good. And just the fact that it just does everything. Like, it's an obscure character that somehow got made because the Mexican champion likes obscure things. And it's a good figure, and it's a common, and you can play it on literally every team. Like, it just checks all the boxes.
Yeah. It was a good year for that. We got Flex, too.
Yeah, Flex I never... I mean, of course, that has to be a champion pick, but got it, so...
So who's your second?
John Delancey.
Yeah, I figured.
I just don't know. He costs so much money, but what? Or Q, fine. But yeah, just
people are currently looking at HC Realms like a couple new players. Like,
you can look up.
Who's this WWE character?
Yeah, you can look up by a real name actor, right?
Where do you get this guy? What's that he from?
Which WWE starter was John Delancey? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like playing against other Devon.
My Little Pony guys and just name the characters after the voice actors. What?
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, it's like playing against other Devon, and he's like playing X-Men, and he's like, Hank does this, and yeah.
All X-Men fans for that.
Yeah, come on.
Scott and Slim and Logan. Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know how you could argue with. I haven't actually played him at his tentpole whatever dog because it just seems like really iffy. I don't know, but just the sheer amount of utility, like the sheer effect that he has on the game. Yeah. Like being the most ridiculous dice manipulation that there's ever been. Like it's like we got Mixie and he was really good, and we got Trelane and he was differently good, and they had to reload with power actions, and then Q just gets to reload for free. And like, good luck hitting him. And he's only 30 points, and he's 0-0, but like he might just be able to hit you anyway if he has a pocket 6. And just the fact that we had already had a Q team ability, and then the Q Continuum team ability is the same one. It's just very cute. I've heard people talk about playing him at full. I don't necessarily know why, but maybe I'll try it at some point. It also seems fun, but just seeing the look on opponents' faces or hearing about it, because I judge more than play, when they're just like, "Oh, I only need a 5 to hit you, but you have a 1, so I can't do it. Can't roll 5s." I think that was one of the best Critical Clicks episodes of the year. Just Scott talking about the probabilities of not hitting. Like, I only need a 4, but you have a pocket 1, and then you have a pocket 2 on Trelane. It's just so good. Such a shame that they split up the sets like they did to make it a Gravity Feed Super Rare Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It definitely hurt.
Yeah, it's probably still 150 US now or something.
Oh, he's gone down.
Yeah. It's achievable.
All right. So now we move into the best set, or our favorite sets of 2019. I think we've gone to the point where we're just calling it favorite. We're not objectively saying this is the best. I believe, Devon, you started the last one, correct? You got your favorite character in first, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, it should be on you, right?
That's on me. It is on me. And this set, it had me at hello.
Well, clearly.
Yeah, this is a given.
Oh, yeah! Did it have me at hello?
Yeah.
Harvey
Moving on.
Firestein?
What?
Was that impression?
Yeah. He actually just does a really weird impression of the captain of the Orville.
I know you're trying to be for adults only with Kappa, but I mean, you don't have to try this hard.
Jeez Louise. Yes, WWE was my favorite set. From the onset where they said, "Hey, Macho Man's in the set." Awesome. They had me. And the fact that it's such a big part of my life, pro wrestling. Like, I've probably got more years as a fan of pro wrestling than I do as comic books, because there's spaces in there where I wasn't collecting them, but I'd be watching wrestling, but not necessarily collecting comic books. There's more or less more years of that, and they really managed to make the characters super playable, because let's go back to Street Fighter, guys. How was that since the set in competitive play?
You couldn't.
And they also, managed to capture the feel of a lot of the characters. They got the Big Show being a traitor. You've got the Undertaker being a big imposing spooky man. You have Finn Balor being an obnoxious little fast guy. If you actually play him, he's kind of really annoying with his lightning strike. Shawn Michaels tuning up the band. Eddie Guerrero dropping 3 suplexes on people. Like, everything feels right. They got the signature moves right. They got the abilities right. The special abilities for pro wrestling felt like pro wrestling moves. Everything about it was exactly what I wanted out of a set that covers my other personal fandom. So WWE for me is my favorite set of the year. With an honorable mention going to nothing. X-Men. X-Men gets an honorable mention because it was a really good set. That's animated series. Tom?
Yeah, there's a number of contenders, to be honest. Admittedly, both X-Men Animated and WWE, while being very high rated as far as I'm concerned, take a bit of a hit for the fact that, again, I really wasn't playing so much as they've been coming out. So I've been impressed by them, but I've had less of a chance for that to be impacting on me viscerally in the way that it has impacted upon me intellectually. So, I mean, Earth X is near and dear to my heart, but I have to go with Avengers, Black Panther, the Illuminati. I do think that it produced the most stuff that is just highly playable for the meta game, certainly at the time, and I think ongoing. And I think that I've had a chance to play a ton of stuff from that set, and not just the objects. What's nice about that is it's not just a set that basically is an opportunity to give us some new special objects, but a lot of the stuff in the set is highly playable too, in multiple different sub-themes. I mean, this is the set that gave us Medusa. This is the set that gave us Astronomer. This is the set that gave us Kobik. And it's the set that gave us all of the objects and just, a dozen other figures that I could mention, which I don't feel like is a great use of our time. I think we all know why I think it's kind of the set to beat to some extent. And I'm not going to say that it doesn't get beat. Others can argue for other things, but I think that it's the one that my heart is most with as the superior set of the year.
All right, Mike.
I love that so far we're all really definitive on which one we love the most. Like, I'm glad that each of us has got a set that's like really hit us in the heart. For me, yeah, there was no runner-up from this one. It was X-Men Animated. I'm a big X-Men fan. I've always been a fan of X-Men. They're in my top list. I will buy all the X books. I have an illness when it comes to that usually. I loved the set. I loved the look of the set when it came out. I will admit that it was partially biased too because of the environment that it came out in, that we were at Worlds and we got to open these figures and play them. I got to build teams with my friends. I'm loving what it's made me look at in terms of these multi-base figures, which normally I'm not always a fan of the multi-base figures. I mean, I play them because you got to play them. You got to play Retaliators. Right. But I love that it opened it up so much more, that some of these multi-base are actually regular size figures. I already mentioned, two of the figures I love, Wendigo and Mojo, both came out of this set. I'm having so much fun with building with it. I'm so excited for it. I actually really liked that it was Hellfire Club chases. I like the look of the chases, and there's some bite there. I just think it's such a really great set, a fun set, and the look of it too. Even I loved how they took the animated characters and really brought them to life with those 90s colors. So. Huge mad love for X-Men Animated set.
All right. Jay,
you're muted.
Unmute.
Yes, wouldn't be an episode. Wouldn't be an episode, Jay.
I'm going to sound weird because it's an inverse of somebody's worst. But I will give honorable mention to just all the con exclusives this year, pretty much. Like, if I could name that as my set, I probably would, just between, all the weird versions of characters, like Squid Hulk.
Yeah.
And now we can maybe get the Thing from that comic, now that that's actually a possibility, hopefully. And just, so many things, like Lobo and another dupe, Miles and Gwen was good to get after Spider-Verse. So a lot of holes are filled there. But I think it was actually Rebirth, just because the Marvel sets were all good for the competitive game, but nothing really, because I'm on the show, but I just played much more casual than competitive. So obviously if a set is competitive, it's good. And there was a lot of good stuff in all the sets, and I've played stuff in all the sets that were competitive. My state's team was 5 different sets, including Orville. But just overall, it just had enough figures to fill in the holes in various themes and sub-themes. That it just kind of worked. The fact that we got all 3 versions of Steel, which I never thought would ever happen. Because, the non-prime variant of Steel is from Justice League Detroit. What? Yeah. I don't know how we got that.
Had to reach hard.
I don't know. And we got, Prez, we got multiple 3 champ figures.
Yeah, Black Adam was awesome. I love
Black Adam, Billy, Shazam with JSA. The Batman, who I kind of feel is my favorite version of Batman, I think.
If you've said Mr. Oz or you haven't, then
I haven't yet, but Mr. Oz.
That
all
rare
the
Raven
Titans.
is
great.
Yeah, Raven. I wanted the Bombshell Black Canary, since that was one of the main missing ones.
The Red Death.
Hey man, there's some that are playable that I'll touch base on in a bit.
Yeah, and the set made JSA competitive viable, so.
Yeah.
Or viable enough. I don't know how well those
Tom
particular
got it pretty
teams...
far that one time.
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah. I know I remember seeing you play it. I just don't know how well you or anybody else did with it. But Black Adam Mystical is still doing well, apparently, so can't argue with that.
I really liked that Mr. Terrific at the time. It's funny how quickly he's lost his luster, but...
Yeah, I do love, for casual, the other Mr. Terrific is just perfect. But I mean, I don't know. It's just there's just enough in the set that works for me casually. And of course, I mean, every set this year was good. Like even, I mean, WWE was one of the better sets, which is just really great, but
Surprising too.
not necessarily surprising, just impressive that they managed to adapt that into HeroClix.
Yeah, well, that does surprise me. I mean, to be honest, it
I
doesn't
mean, that was
seem
the main question, right? Like, what do we
Street
do
Fighter
about
Never forget.
what?
Street Fighter never forget. He
Oh,
said,
yeah.
and I agree. And it's a hard balance because they could have gone too far in the other direction and made it so that they were just made everything else look crappy. So, yeah, hard balance. Cool.
All right, Devon.
All right. Hear me out. It was my worst set of the year, but I'm a fan of everything DC because it's all I get. That's all I can play with. If you like DC, what are you going to do? Not play the
Such an
game?
abusive relationship.
This is an
I know.
international man of
Oh, like-
contradiction here.
Wow.
Sorry, I
Hey,
stole
Whiskey,
it. I didn't
Can
know.
I have a? No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm like, hey, can I have some DC to play with? They're like, ugh, oh please,
Some
just
sadomasochism.
I
You
just
should-
want some numbers.
You should
Oh.
become a
hold on.
Toronto Maple Leafs fan if you're
I
into
need-
that kind of
I need
abuse.
Yeah,
this-
exactly.
I need to timestamp this clip so I have this for when the Copa
Oh
guys
my
come and get me.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
This is
Oh, man.
Stockholm syndrome
It's
in
like-
HeroClix form.
For casual play, like you said, there's plenty of filler for stuff that retired out of Modern. There's still some pretty not as much unique and fun stuff as I'd want with good or even decent stats, but the stuff that's there is fun to play. The rare Flash, I think, is a superb take on the regular version of Flash, which is just hypersonic. Of course, this one is the facing teleport, but if you go 5 or less, you can do an all caps close action after movement, which works with his either traded flurry or his starting quake on his attack power. 18 different combat reflexes is also something you don't usually see on a Flash. So he's super fun. You can and of course, using that facing teleport power with all caps close works with any other equipment you give him to. So if you want to object attack, should you want to exploit with the what's the
Crowbar?
axe for exploit? Crowbar. Yeah, you can activate all those just the same. And even the Dark Knight metal chases that are the two that are good are still super fun to play. Probably Dawnbreaker being my favorite, because should your opponent make bystander tokens, you get at least one with better stats. That's super fun to have happen. And it just fleshed out a lot of DC teams that Modern is lacking right now. But it's still not great. Had it not had Teen Titans, I would have probably not have mentioned it on my worst.
Interesting.
I hate it. Kick it out of the house. I don't want it.
Yeah.
I can't
Alright.
quit you.
All right,
The,
we're kind of
the safe word. The safe word is harder.
we're hitting that late point in the time, so we're gonna have to try to speed up our ideas. But I know one of them goes a little long, so we're gonna go with our favorite team of 2019 before we do our best personal click moment, because we know how that one goes.
Yeah.
So Tom, your favorite clicks team of 2019 doesn't necessarily have to be yours.
I know it doesn't, but I'm afraid it's going to have to be, only because of the fact that this was the hardest one for me. There's so many teams, and I had a hard time remembering any of them specifically. So I mean, I just went with the most fun, which was so many variations of EarthX theme teams, because I remember again. The Skull, who I love so dearly, the criticism that was always made was that you couldn't play him on a theme team because no one will ever play an EarthX theme team effectively. And I've taken that as a personal challenge and run head on at it on many different events over the course of the year. So, I mean, I'm not going to name specific figures. I'm just going to say that there's enough in there that I've been able to kind of come up with teams that I really enjoyed playing. It was always fun. It was often effective, not always crazy effective, and I certainly don't think it's there's an EarthX team out there right now that's an A tier meta competitive team, but it's good enough to be in the fight and still be fun and be an EarthX theme team, which gives me great personal pleasure to play. Looking forward to the new Thor we're going to get eventually with it and see if he contributes in a big way. And other than that, that's my answer. Kind of a cop-out, but
That's fair enough. All right, Mike.
I enjoyed discussing all those EarthX builds with you, Tom. I still think it can happen. I believe in you. I don't know. I might have taken a bit of a cheat on this one. I took the wording. My favorite HeroClix team of 2019 was the reunion of Team
Yeah.
Sarie, original lineup.
I thought
back
that's
at
where you might be
Team
going.
Worlds. Honestly, that for me was the favorite moment. I had so much fun the first time around when we got to play at Worlds many moons ago. And the fact that I knew we were going to get to play together again was great. I love building teams with you guys. We got to build from what was my favorite set of the year. So clearly I was having so much fun. And yeah, I have a blast playing HeroClix with people, and especially with my friends, you guys. This is part of why I do the show with you guys. And definitely Team Sarie original lineup back again.
Nice.
Number one team for me of 2019.
All right.
Ooh.
Jay.
Am I muted? No, I'm not.
No,
I'm glad that Tom went with what he did, because my team was the one I played against his EarthX team. His what was the other one? Your soldier team.
Was it Soldiers? Yeah.
It was almost Shield. It could have been Shield.
Yeah.
But it was the gimmick team where the gimmick never happened, but it still worked.
Yeah.
Basically, I realized at the time before they ruled on it, because I put the question in, I realized that technically, you could revive Lockjaw with 6 Infinity tokens with Captain Marvel Ultra Chase because of very specific obscure wording, and it never ended up happening because I think the only times that revives happened, Lockjaw was nowhere near. But basically, the team came down. It was basically Lockjaw, Captain Marvel, equipment, and other filler. But it was hard to kill enough, and I ended up placing second in 2 states with it, which was, I guess, my best constructed standard not popper this year. So I beat Tom in top 4 and lost to Devon top 2 one day, and then the reverse the next day. So it was a good Clicks weekend.
Yeah. Domination.
And picking Leap Climb with a pick-a-power character.
Now that you brought that up again, Emily in the chat says there's video evidence of this.
Yeah, we have the video somewhere. I just did
Somewhere.
not care to get it. I don't know. I don't have a YouTube channel.
All right. Devon.
Continuing the trend of DC teams, my
Nice.
favorite was the monster theme team I played for the first round of states in South Dakota. I think I got top 8. I forget if it was 6th or 7th, but the team was Dawnbreaker, Killer, Murder Machine, EarthX, Venom
Not
Cap,
Killer Moth.
and Carnage and Groot. But the neat part about it was running Exospecs and the Pick a Power Gauntlet because of the interaction with the Reckless Disregard for Life trait, which reads, if they do a close attack after resolutions, you deal 1 penetrating damage to anyone still adjacent to the attacker or who you just attacked, which is pretty unique when you use it with the Red Death, because Hypersonic, you run up, you punch, then you move away before the action resolves, and then after resolutions, you're maybe somewhere else, right? So you damage that person instead away. So with Dawnbreaker and Murder Machine, you use the Pick a Power equipment to give them Hypersonic so that Murder Machine gets to activate his kill a figure, attack again trait multiple times. So you Hypersonic Murder Machine up, punch someone, hopefully KO, and next to the Retaliator, also kill the Retaliator, and then you just make more free attacks after that. It was super fun.
Sweet.
Neat. My favorite team was the one that I came up with and other people came up with for Popper, because Connor McLeod be damned. I'm waiting for somebody to say I don't get it.
I don't get it.
What?
What?
Really?
Highlander.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
there
Before
you
my
go.
time.
There could be only one.
What's
Um,
Highlander?
Stop.
Cheating.
Don't make me go to the garage and get the sword.
All right.
I thought you were going to say, don't
I've
let me go
got
to the
two
garage and get
upstairs.
the beta.
I can't
We had
download
a
this book.
beta. Okay, we had a beta.
In fact, three of the 5 guys in this conversation right now have a sword.
It's fair.
Yeah, no, I just had a ton of fun with that team, and yes, I'm sorry, Tom. It includes Nimrod.
I know.
But
I know. You got to do what you got to do.
You know what? I needed to make a Sentinel theme team. I need to make as many Sentinels as I possibly could, and Nimrod had to take up a lot of the points in order for me to do that properly.
It was a personal victory of mine to prevent you from generating any sentinels in our game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and
I died.
Bryce.
Yeah, I mean, I died miserably, but it was close.
Yep.
I think you somehow got only 4 in our game with 4 leaderships, and that game went pretty long in the turns. So
Yeah, I know. You know what? In my practice, I averaged about 4 or 5 sentinels by about turn 3, 4.
yeah, I think you missed
and
all of the leaderships turn 1, and then
Yeah.
like half of them turn 2.
I missed about 90% of my leaderships once I actually got to the tournament thing. Forgetting that, all this practice means nothing when I get to the tournament. That's right, doesn't it? All right. So now we move to the final best of 2019. Your best personal clicks moment. Mike, you get this one first.
Well, I have to throw in real quick. Obviously, going to Worlds with all of you guys was a blast. It was so much fun. Oh my God, I love traveling with you guys. I love seeing all the other players out there. All the Jersey boys, we had so much fun. All those board game nights playing Smash Up was tons of fun. What was that game that we were playing back in the room afterwards?
The one with the TV or whatever.
Yeah.
Jackbox party games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a ton of fun,
Jackbox is great.
and with Scott and oh my God, yeah, we were a little bit out of control there,
A
but
book you'll never see checked out of the library, the Attack Wing rule book.
oh man, yeah, oh, it was so.
Hey
bad.
man, they had 2 players. They had a table. They were there. Dedication.
So they dropped by 66%.
So obviously that trip was a blast, and I had so much fun. But clearly, I'm going to say my best personal moment of the year was finishing second at Canadian Nationals. I mean, I had a good run overall this year. I won a WKO. I feel like I was finishing top 4 at a lot of WKOs and Winamap things this year. And I've managed to finish second at Canadian Nationals. It was made sweeter by the fact that when we got to that final game, I was sitting across from a friend of mine who was also my roommate on the trip. So it was a great feeling to know that no matter what happened, win or lose, that a Canadian was going to win and that it was going to be somebody I liked. Well, I mean, unless I won, that would have been awkward. But yeah, right? Jesus. But obviously that was great. It was a team that I had enjoyed playing. As Nate White pointed out in our game, I wasn't using Kobik like a lot of other people were, so that was kind of fun to pull off some tricks and shenanigans with her. And I had to play a lot of great players to get to the end there. Scott Crampton and Ed in the top 8 there. It was a great day of clicks, and it was such a great feeling to actually finally get to a pretty top spot like that. And hey, the prizing's nothing to seize at. It's pretty cool when you get a chase set, especially if you're lucky enough that there's an ultra chase in that chase set, right? So it was a great moment, and it felt really good, and it felt like a bit of a culmination for the year because I made the choice to really try and be more competitive this year and had some great results. So thanks to all my teammates who help with all the practicing all the time. You guys are great, and definitely owe a lot of practice to the success this year.
All right, Jay.
It almost feels like I have an actually playing one and I have a not actually playing one. My track record with doing well at events is weird because I seem to do better at like non-standard formats. Like I won a sealed WKO and I won the Pauper States, so I'm still waiting on the constructed one. But the States was pretty cool. It was an interesting format. I don't think anybody else ended up with quite the same team as me. I don't know exactly because I feel like there was a lot more Onslaught Monster theme than the classic team of Onslaught and Eddie Guerrero, right? That happened in some format of my fan fiction. I don't.
I'm writing it right now.
Jay, I have copyrights on that fanfic.
Onslaught, your hands are so strong.
Oh, but you can knock me back despite my combat reflexes. But getting to judge at Origins at Worlds is pretty good because previously I'd only done WizKids demoing, but getting to actually be there at the big events was pretty cool. And of course, Worlds was just like the best event, except for Scott Porter in the bathroom. That was not necessary.
Talking at you, right?
Yeah, because
yeah.
It was freaky, man.
For
Yeah.
reference for people
Hey
that
guys,
didn't go.
we're here for another quick and dirty Heroclix unboxing.
Yeah, so-
Like literally, there was one moment. There were three of us in that bathroom when all of a sudden his voice came on, and I swear it's a good thing we were in the bathroom because everybody pooped or peed themselves for sure.
But for context, they were playing
out
his
there.
unboxing.
Hey, it's
the
your
whole
boy Scott
time.
Porter, and you're like, oh god,
Yeah,
where's my boy?
they were playing
Look at
Scott's.
Scott Porter.
I'm not gonna talk anymore. That's it for me because I can't talk.
All right, Devon.
All right, I have a faster highlight, and then leading to the actual point. It was round 3 of the sealed team constructed at Worlds, where I think I got the record for the weekend of fastest game that wasn't a roll off. My team, which was solo Nimrod, because we didn't open really anything in our boosters, was up against Onslaught and Van Whedon at 175 points. And have you ever scored 175 points with a single incapacitate attack? I
Oh no!
His turn one. My turn 1 was I move Nimrod up. His turn 1 is he moves Onslaught up carrying Vange. My turn 1, I move up as far as I can within, not in line of sight of Vange's outwit, to try to mind game it, thinking, all right, he's going to power action a mover. He's going to outwit me. And he proceeds to do that on his turn 2. And he rolls a crit hit, so power to him. But his Van Whedon now has an action token on its lights, or it's not a stop click, but whatever the last click was. Right? And I'm just like, okay, I choose in cap, and yeah, she dies. And I had to explain what was going on because we had encountered that the round prior and had gone through 4 WizKids judges who all confirmed that, hey, this is how it works. She just dies. And so that leads to my highlight, which was talking Heroclix with the community in general, which is what I proceeded to do for the next hour. But just talking everyone that weekend, all the shared experiences we have throughout the world, really. USA, Canada was there. I don't think we didn't have much traveling from international traveling for Memphis, as far as I understood. But I did get to meet people at Philly last year, which was still pretty neat. And it's all fun playing the same figures in the same game with a ton of people throughout the world. So that's my highlight, just meeting new people.
Mm-hmm. Cool. In spite of having a very bad competitive year for myself, I had more fun this year, I think, than any other year when it came to traveling. Between, the plane full of nothing but people going to a Wizards event in Memphis, to the hotels and Tom's enamoration, I'll call it, with Elvis. He was almost more informative than John Stamos was. For those of you who went on the Graceland tour, you know what I'm talking about.
I still hear his voice in my head
Well,
talking
stop
about the
watching Full House
room.
while you're going to sleep.
No, it's so great. I'm still glad we went on that Graceland
Yeah, it
tour.
was awesome.
Like,
I
I want to
love
build a time machine and go back and party down with Elvis because his house is awesome.
One highlight I want to point out is when we all went to his personal gym, the squash room or whatever it was, where he had the squash racquetball court, and all of us looked in the rec room inside of that and said, that'd be a great place to play Heroclix.
Yeah. Bunch of losers.
Hey, don't be cruel.
And of course, the look on not only my own but everybody else's face when my food arrived at Marlowe's.
Steak.
I know. I meant to post those pictures. I should find.
Did you
those
run
pictures.
into American portions? I take it.
Yes. Well, the story goes, I am used to Ribfest portions here, so you get like a 3-piece or a 3 portion combo. It's a quarter chicken, a third of a rack of ribs.
Oh man, you're in the South now.
Like a little bit of pulled pork, and no, I got the full plate of each. A half a chicken, half a rack of ribs. It was insanity.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not right.
He was a remorseless eating machine.
I was gonna say what was worse is how much of it the biggest shame is how much of it I ate.
Didn't you get a dessert?
Yes.
We were
and then
we
we
were
arrived
going-
at the hotel. I said, "Move! I gotta go to the washroom."
Yeah. And
That
we
was a-
moved.
That was a quick exit. It wasn't coming out the top; it was coming out the bottom. But still,
All the
same.
Sounds like America plate.
There was not room in there for me. But all that laughing aside, all of the good times I had in all of the hotel rooms and all of the fun at events. And an honorable mention goes to the fact that I turned on Roll20 for once in my life this year and got a practice game in. I manned up and did it, guys. And apparently I'm going to have to do it for our patrons soon. I really got to set that up. Tom!
Kind of weird. I mean, I have a very strange choice for my favorite of the year because there's a lot of stuff that I really enjoyed from this year. But I think that if I look back upon this year, the thing that's going to stand out to me the most of all things is Canadian Nationals. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Tom, how did you do at Canadian Nationals? This was the tournament at which I showed up unannounced. I mean, one of the tournaments at which I showed up unannounced and unexpected on the morning of, strolling in through the door like
I
the
expected him.
swinging jerk that I am. Having found out the night before I could do it, so hastily getting an Airbnb, texting, "Hey guys, how's the tournament going?" as I was eating in Montreal before heading back to my Airbnb and then going over in the morning. But I went 0-5. Lost every game with my pathetic animal team.
I loved it, by the way.
Yeah, well, and I really enjoyed like the last round was you and me at the bottom.
thank you for
The last
trying.
round of Swiss. At the last table, Jason and I fighting it out. And I enjoyed Canadian Nationals for a ton of reasons. One of them is the fact that we finally got a chance to see a Canadian win Canadian Nationals. That felt massively vindicating, even if it had absolutely nothing to do with me. And in fact, as Mike pointed out, it was an all Canadian final, and it was a great thing to be able to be there and to shake Mike's hand and to shake Devon's hand. And I mean, this is really, to me, this really felt like Devon's year. I mean, he's been great forever, but he's really had so much success this year, and it was just great to be able to be there and bask in it. And this is my moment to be a bit egocentric and greedy, because I've long claimed that I think that I would enjoy HeroClix even no matter how I'm doing or whatever. And I did, and I really had a great time going 0-5, even though I'd driven 5.5 hours in each direction in order to go 0-5. And it didn't matter. I was having a lot of fun playing the game I love with the people that I liked, and I got to share in a great moment, even if it wasn't mine. And that really felt good, and it felt personally vindicating that still is the thing that keeps me in this game, and not just something I tell myself. So yeah, I really enjoyed Canadian Nationals. It was really special. Though many things this year were.
Your theme was good. You just needed to have played it when Wendigos were legal and not.
Yeah, it's true.
Rails.
I was ahead of the curve, is what.
Yeah, you were so
You and me
close.
have both been there, Tom. You and me have both been there.
Yeah.
All right.
Too much in the future, bruh.
So that's our thoughts on 2019. Any Click Year's resolutions before we sign out, Tom?
Hadn't thought about it. Play more. Let's see if this is the year in which I play the game. Come up with a good scenario for the Royal Rumble so that you and I can play it and then watch.
You got it. Mike.
Convince WizKids that they need to make a Gargoyles HeroClix themed set.
Interesting. I love it. I already hear Keith David's voice in my head. Jay.
What was the question?
Click Year's resolution.
Win a constructed event that's not a weird format where you have to play all characters cheating or something.
Yeah.
Devon.
Equipment in Justice League Unlimited. That needs to happen because Brainiac needs a pair of pants. A decent pair of pants. That's all he wants. That's all I want.
I have to share in 100% of Tom's. Play more games, come up with a Royal Rumble thing so we can play something before we watch the Royal Rumble. You coming over, Tom?
I'm into it.
All right, let's do it. All right, that said, it's time to move into questions where we open the floor to you guys. We only have a few on the Facebook. If you're watching live in the chat, put capital letters question in front of it so we can see it. But we have Michael Fedor, the Alpha Patron. If you want to become a patron, check it out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks. Michael wants to know, are you proud of this channel and how far it's come? Are you better players than last year? Well, if you want to compare against last year, no, I am not a better player. If performance is what you're talking about. If as a person and me not caring nearly as much as I used to, yeah, sure. I'm taking it a lot easier these days. I'm just trying to focus on a team that I can have fun with from now on. As far as the channel, I need to get some work done. I'm running solo except with these guys now on Mondays, so I have to kind of revamp some things, get my life in control because I'm stretching myself thin again. But that said, Tom.
I mean, I have no stake in taking pride in the channel, insofar as I don't do anything besides show up every now and again. But certainly, I think that this channel has a lot to be proud of, and certainly I'm proud by proxy of you and Amber for making this the success that it's been. As far as am I a better player now than I was this time last year? I mean, I'm a rustier player to be sure. I don't think I'm worse though. I don't necessarily think I'm better either, but I think I'm another year worldlier, and I just need to shake the rust off.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, I totally mirror Tom's first point about pride in the channel. I just lucky enough to get to come and hang out with you guys and talk clicks every once in a while. You and Amber did all the work and put all the effort and love into this thing and making it grow. I'm proud to be included, and that you would consider me somebody who can actually sit here and talk about clicks. Because man, I've done a lot of stupid things in my history of playing HeroClix.
I mean,
yikes!
look who's running the channel. Don't worry.
Yeah, who hasn't?
Got probs. So anyway. So yeah, that's really all you guys. I'm just grateful to get to join in on the fun. I guess I'm a better player. I mean, it's such a subjective thing, right? Like, did I have a great year? Yeah, I had a good year. Have I learned more things about the game? Yeah. Have rules changed in the game and now I've got to learn those rules? Yeah. Like, I mean, that's the point, is stuff has changed in the game and I don't know all the things that have changed in the game. And there's still moments of like, oh, really? It's like that now? So, I mean, how much better or worse can I be? I'm a HeroClix player who's been playing this game for 16 years and I'm still confused by what's going on. So maybe. That's my answer. Maybe.
Jay?
I got nothing to add on top of it. They pretty much got it.
All right. Devon?
As this channel's YouTube rival, I'm glad to collab. It's fun being a part of this community because it seems every voice and content creator we have has unique different takes on the game, which is fun to listen to and be a part of, like tonight and the past few weeks of joining the Meta Lab. It's been super fun. It's great to share and learn things about Canadian HeroClix that we sometimes don't get in the States, and vice versa, I'm sure. I'm out of Bellevue rules to share, for example. But yeah, I appreciate being here. I'm glad to help out. Willing to collab more in the future if you want, but it's great to be here. Am I a better player this year? I am garbage all the time. So
But are you better garbage?
No, I'm the same.
All right. So that leads to the next question. Will you have more... Okay, this one's, I think, specifically directed at me. Will you have more movement... Actually, it might not be. Will you have more movement attack episodes next year? I got one that I got to put up soon. Tom, how often do you drive me to tournaments?
Need a new car, but all the same, yeah, I'm into that.
All right. So, Jay, how often do you ride me to tournaments?
If it absolutely has to happen, otherwise find someone else.
Otherwise, it's me. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I want to be in.
Drive me to tournaments.
It depends on what show I end up on and whether or not they give me a car.
Devon, how often do you drive me to tournaments?
I have a car and a dream. It's only what, like a 12-hour drive to go from
Something
Omaha,
like that.
Nebraska? Yeah. We'll make it happen. This will be the best collab ever.
I'm for Canadian Nationals. Make it actually happen.
Yeah.
On the road, the HeroClix edition.
All that aside, Amber and I are kind of looking into the idea of getting a vehicle this year. I guess I'm gonna have to be the one driving it, so we got to work on me getting my license again. That's its own long story that maybe we'll do a personal talk episode where it's like, Jason, why don't you drive? Funny story. But yeah, so as long as I can get out to driving to tournaments somehow, that's when move and attack happens. I find it a little awkward on the bus or when I travel on other forms of public transit, and it gets a little frowned upon on the train or on the plane, I believe, plus all the background noise. Like if you think the background noise on the highway is terrible, imagine a plane.
Well, it's not as bad on the plane where it's only HeroClix players.
Yeah, they all know.
Yeah, but nobody inside of an enclosed place wants to hear you talk about or you film your podcast or whatever. So I kind of try to keep to that. You know, that the next thing you need is me pausing and go, when you hear some guy say, "Hey, you want to keep it down over there?"
Listen, man, I got superheroes to talk about.
Yeah,
Important.
I'm doing a podcast about toys. Do you mind?
They're collectible miniatures.
They're toys.
The package has 14 plus.
Right?
Adults have toys too, man.
Yeah, but that's a whole other story. We're not allowed to talk about that anymore, are we?
Actually, we are absolutely
The FBC is listening, man.
If we
We're
do
not
talk
toys.
about that kind of stuff, we definitely don't have to worry about COPPA standards. So
There was that L.E. Bruce banner inside of the bubble outfit that kind of worked.
Oh.
the safe word is smash.
I thought the safe word was.
The safe word is pineapple. Take the pineapple out. All right. Rick Yell in the chat, and this one might be helpful to just throw a J. What's the deal with being able to colossal retaliate without a target to get the after actions resolutions?
Oh, fizzling. That's fun. Basically, as a general rule, this game doesn't work. I think the logic comes down to you can always activate an action even if you can't fully resolve it. Like you can just take the free act. So basically, you take a free action, like you move your Tri-Sentinel up, you move Surtur up, you take a free action, and to do all the retaliation stuff, and then you're like, okay, so I can't do a target. I've activated my free action. I can't do anything. So then you go to the after resolutions triggered effect, and it just happens. So I hope it gets fixed because I don't see.
Can you do the placing of them?
No. You have to have a target. Okay, so basically, the whole thing came about because they ruled that if because Tri-Sentinel uses Pulse Wave as part of the retal, and if the question was if he targets Protected Pulse Wave Black Panther, what happens? They basically ruled he stays stationary because there's no legal square to place him such that he has a target because you can never Pulse Wave him. Because retaliation is contingent on being placed in a square such that you can make the attack. So they basically ruled that Tri-Sentinel stays in place, but you still get to trigger the after resolutions effect, and it all came after that from there.
Weird.
So
same idea behind like destroying indestructible objects with no attack.
Does
that makes sense? With TK.
Yeah, the TK. No,
remember that part of Thor Ragnarok where Thor just dropped his hammer and it exploded?
Yeah, remember in Infinity War where they just TK'd the gauntlet off and it just disappeared?
Yeah, it just shattered, man. What happened? Who knows?
They scored 30 points. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I did think it was weird the way they had that score counter in the bottom corner on special edition.
That's the HeroClix edit.
Yeah.
Like the Snyder cut, the HeroClix cut of
oh my god.
When you heard Joss Whedon scream, "Stop looking at the back of my cards!"
Yeah.
Or the Russo brothers. Sorry, the Russo brothers. Joss Whedon worked on the first run. That joke died when I got my information wrong. All right.
Thanos snaps and the game ends because he scored 400 points in a 300 point.
There we go. There it is. All right.
That's a good one.
So, first off, happy holidays, everybody. I want to thank Tom, Mike, Jay, and Devon for joining me for the last episode of 2019. It's been a hell of a year, and we look forward to seeing you guys out there in the world and, getting a chance to do more of these shows with you guys. Hopefully, we can keep things flowing on the channel the way we have been with a little bit more content coming from my side. Expect a new Move and Attack sometime before the end of the year. And we'll continue as we were before we hit this December slump. It's been a great time. It's been a great 2019. Partially made possible by you guys over at Patreon. Check us out, patreon.com/Heroclix. Check out coming January our new Roll20 once per month game. Should be a little bit of fun. It's gonna be silly stuff. Don't expect it to be super competitive. It's just gonna be a way to hang out with the patrons and have some fun with some silly stipulations that we'll give just before the event. But check that out. Check out our sponsors of majesticccg.com/apex-insiders, and we'll get some great minds talking to you about the game of HeroClix. Some crazy minds who are occasionally allowed to write articles about nonsense. Keep your eyes on them. $3 a month gets you some of the good stuff, the tasty stuff, the good brains, the good minds. I hope you guys all have a happy new year, happy holiday with your families going into 2020. And I hope you guys all get a little bit of game of HeroClix in you, because all games of HeroClix are a little bit of practice, and practice will make your teams better. Happy New Year, happy holidays. Enjoy your time, ladies and gentlemen.